Wild stories you've not heard before. Echoes through the air, they roar. Unleash the beast, let your spirit soar. Fists in the air, the crowds ablaze. Moments that seal the mundane taste. No fear, no hold in this maze. Reach the peak of these wild days. It lives, Friday night lives. You die, but Friday night lives. Hosted by Deadbeat Radio. Stuntman Mark and Rambo Rap. Fists in the air, the crowds ablaze. Moments that steal the mundane taste. No fear, no hold in this maze. Reach the peak of these wild days. It lives, Friday night lives. You die, but Friday night lives. Hosted by Deadbeat Radio. Stuntman Mark and Rambo Rap.
What's up, bulls? It's Friday night and time for another edition of Friday Night Lives. Always remember that everyone dies, but Friday night lives. And with me, as always, Stuntman Mark and Rambo Raff to usher in one of the greatest decades for films ever. As I look at these years that we're going to be talking about, like this is one of the hardest lists that I've had to ever make. The 90s, and in this case, the early 90s. So from 1990 to 1994. So what did you guys think when you looked at these movies from these early years of the 90s?
I knew it was going to be tough. I just had a feeling. Just there's so many great movies in the 90s.
Yeah. I think 93 might be the year that about broke me. Like I had like 30 movies that year, and I was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to figure this out. I did, though. I did my best.
Very nostalgic. This is the era I got into movies. By the time I'm 7 years old, I'm understanding what movies are, and by that time it's 1990. So whether these films come into theater or soon to VHS, this is definitely a very, very nostalgic time for me. So it's a lot of fun looking through what all came out and making this list.
Yeah, man, I didn't remember a lot of these movies. Like, well, that I mean, I remembered them, but they just didn't. Like going back, it was like it brought back a lot of memories of like all of these kind of wacky comedies and stuff that came out in the early 90s too. It seemed to be like that. This time period was a big time period for like comedies. So I'm not sure what was going on exactly, but you could definitely see a huge shift from the 80s into the early 90s when you look at these movies. Like the tone of the movies and like how they were completely different to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially violence wise, the action movies. Oh my god, like this was a great time for action movies. Really, just cinema in general. Like I'm looking at my list, and I have, as usual, about 30 movies or so for each year, and it was tough, man. I mean, there's so many on here. Like so many I wanted to put in top 5, but you can only do 5. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, at least for me and Rambo, one of these years we'll probably have like the same top 5. But
Maybe.
we'll see. Yeah.
I like the fact though that we're always pretty consistently different on our our choices.
Yeah.
Like somehow or another, we always seem to like pick, except for maybe a couple number ones. Some of them are so obvious that it's like you can't get away from it. And there was maybe one in this series of films. So I'll lay down the ground rules real quick for the people that have maybe never watched this before. Like we each pick 5 films that we consider our top 5 films from each year. So we start with 1990, we go, year by year, 91, 92, and we're going to end at 94. And we all pick 5 films. We all talk about why we picked them, and just kind of move on from year to year. And hopefully, we get through this before 2 o'clock tonight. I don't know if we will or not. That's just a hope. I think one of y'all brought up like we need to extend it to 10 films. I'm like, buddy, it'd be
that was
6
me.
o'clock in the morning before we got done.
Was that
Yeah,
guy?
I mean, it was. I mean, again, there's just so much. Like it's really hard to narrow down like a top 5. But yeah,
I love
cool.
it though. I love the idea of like trying to narrow it down, because like you
Yeah, that's
really
what
got to
makes it fun.
sit there and think like, what is it
Mhm.
about that movie that you like, and like, would you continue to watch it to this day? There's a lot of factors that go into these lists.
Oh yeah.
So other than the ground rules and things like that, we will, like I said, like we'll each pick 5 of the movies, and it'll be like one person will pick 5, the other person will pick 5, the other person will pick 5 until we get through it. But the 90s is, I don't know, man, it's stacked full of great movies. I don't think we're going to do the 2000s, but if we did the 2000s, I feel like you would see a significant drop from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should. Like, why not? You know.
Well, if we do the 2000s, I'd do like all the 2000s. Because, like, if we can find like fucking 10 movies in all of the 2000s to like that we would put in a top 10 list, it's not that bad. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I guess like we can get started. Let's mix it up this time. So I know Mark starts usually.
No,
That's
I do.
Rambo.
Oh, Matt
Rambo.
starts usually. Okay.
I'm
So-
always in the middle.
All right, let's fucking mix it up. Mark, you start, and then I'll go, and then Rambo will end.
Are we still doing 3 honorable mentions? Just
You can
3?
do as many honorable mentions as you want to. I feel like,
Just not
But-
10.
yeah, but I mean, 3 is usually what we go with.
Okay. Before I start, are we going to do any shout outs to the chat, or should I just go?
No, fuck the chat. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding around. We got like a ton of people in here, so I promise you, I'm just kidding when I say fuck the chat. I would never willingly do that to our audience. Adrian James is in here. Gorfian is new. Gorfian, is that how you would say that? I think so. Mozart's Ghost, Saturn Video. Good to have you all. Scotty Lovern. Irish Michael Myers is in here. Jeez. I bet that's a hell of a thing.
Must
Not
hate the
sure
shit
how
out of
exactly
Leprechaun.
that would go, but yeah.
Kick the leprechaun's
which-
ass for me, please.
Witch Hunter 1750 Films, Tape Rot Video, Antonio's in here, and Antonis, I should say, a Tenchi fan. Raphael Manigatillo. Let's see, Dante 22. Bobby's in here. Always like to see
Yo,
Bobby
Bobby.
being in here.
Bye-bye.
Always like having Scratch in here as well. Not the devil, but the actual person. The Filminator. A Matter of Pat. Yeah, and F Base, which I've never heard of that one. F Base is bound to be killer. We've already got a super chat, so let's get to it. Hopium Gardner says Joker 2 sounds like a pile of garbage. Wow, he just straight to the point. I hope it flops to high heaven.
I think
looks
it's on like 33% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
It's not good. Like none of the reviews that I've seen have been good.
This is what I hear.
For what I understand, if you like the first one, this one just completely traps on the first one and makes everything in the first one pointless. Pretty much saying, if you like the first one, you suck. So it's like Alien 3.
I'm going
This
to tell
is-
you right
This
now,
is what I was
man.
afraid of. We didn't
Yeah.
need a sequel. We really didn't. We just
No, I mean, that's one movie that absolutely did not need a sequel. Like, it's kind of a miracle that that movie did as well as it did, considering like what it's like.
Mhm.
$1 billion. It was the highest.
Yeah.
It was the most successful R-rated film until Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, over $1 billion.
And this will shit the bed. I'll about guarantee it.
with how much it costs, like 200 million.
Yeah, they're not getting another billion. That's for sure.
So good to have everybody in here. We're hovering around 100 people in here right now, so I figure like, that's always a good place to start. Like
More
for
people
sure.
watch this than Joker 2.
That's probably true. Well, man, okay, first of all, who the fuck asked for a sequel to Joker anyway? And secondly,
I did.
Besides the studio, nobody.
The $1 billion.
who asked for a
actually.
musical? Like, who was like, that's a good idea? I feel like it's a joke, almost like a prank. Like, Todd Phillips was just kind of like, you know what? I don't want to do this fucking movie, so I'm going to make this like the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 theory, where he was like, I don't really want to even do this, so I'm going to fucking make this like as bad as I can just to fuck with this studio.
I'm not surprised. This is the guy who doesn't know how to make sequels. He did the Hangover 2 and 3. How do you feel about the first one, which I liked? Hangover 2 and 3 was awful. And then, lo and behold, and thanks, Hopium. You've read spoilers. If I could say, I'll say it. It sounds like Popeye. Save people their money because it's hideously insulting like I couldn't believe. Someone told me, and so I already know. So yeah, like I said, if you like the first one, it pretty much said go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like they just shit on the entire. I haven't seen it. I doubt seriously I will see it. I know I'm not going to the theaters to see it. Like I'm not. I'm just not.
No,
so
there's no way I'm doing that.
But I almost can sense what that movie will be like, if that makes any sense to y'all.
Oh, trust me, it does.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, Mark, you're up first. The year is 1990. Let us begin.
What a badass way to start the 90s. I mean, God, there's so many movies. This was really tough, much like every year. So, honorable mention first, I got to put over King of New York. Abel Ferrara's best movie, in my opinion. It's got a great cast, but all you really need is Christopher Walken and Lawrence Fishburne in that movie. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne is like basically the right-hand man of Christopher Walken. He plays Frank White, and basically he sets out to become the king of New York in the criminal underworld. And it's as crazy as you think any Abel Ferrara movie would be if you've seen any of his movies. His movies are pretty out there. But yeah, great movie. Honorable mention. Almost made the top 5, but didn't. Let's see. Class of 1999. The pseudo sequel to Class of 1984. Mark Lester's film. This one has a great cast as well. A bunch of unique people like Patrick Kilpatrick. You got Pam Grier, Bradley Gregg's in there. I think Joshua Miller as well. It's almost like The Faculty before The Faculty, basically. Instead of aliens, they're robots. I believe it's just the 3 teachers that are like cyborgs, I should say. And yeah, they run amok in the school. They're there to keep order, along with Stacy Keach running them, and Malcolm McDowell as a principal. But very, very fun. I love the third act especially. So many great like action sequences all packed into like 30 minutes. You get rockets to like people's faces and like just pure chaos. It's amazing. So there's that one. And then First Power, which I know, Rambo, you're a big fan of as well. I'd be surprised if that one wasn't in your top 5 or at least an honorable mention for you too. I mean, Lou Diamond Phillips plays the detective, searching for a killer that comes back, which is also the First Power. That's the Gift of Resurrection. It's a satanic killer movie. There's not much mystery to it as much as there is cat and mouse, but it's very fun. The killer sports a really cool looking mask.
Jeff Kober.
Yes, Jeff Kober.
It's a very stylish film, especially like it's a lot of cool little set pieces. There's the sliding down the sewer system. There's that fan that he starts off. That's definitely one of the things is that it's a lot of these certain set pieces that definitely stand out.
And even the stunt where like the building jump, you know what I'm talking about.
I
Jump
hate
off
that the fort was the Blu-ray. You could see the string, like they made it a bit too crystal clear. So you see the string. I hate that, but
Yeah,
it's
Hey.
a good stunt.
Tracy
it
Griffith,
is.
y'all. It's not. Let us not forget
Of course, love
Melanie
Tracy
Griffith's
Griffith.
long lost sister that did like 2 or 3 movies. But she was amazing, man. Back
I
in the
loved
day.
her.
Yeah. All right, so number 5. Now that we got the honorable mentions out the way, I'm gonna go with Tremors. And I think everybody in the chat has seen this movie, or at least you've heard of it. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward star in the movie. They're handymen that sort of get caught up in the middle of a creature feature type of thing out in like the middle of the desert. And it's a small town that is overrun by underground worm monsters, to put it mildly. But yeah, I mean, just so many great fun moments in that movie, so many great lines. Just the characters, I love it. Like it's one of those movies that I just grew up watching all the time, and it still has a ton of replay value. The sequel is very worthy of your time for anybody that might be interested. Part 2. I don't know about the other ones. I'll leave that up to you guys. But yeah, 1 and 2 are where it's at for sure.
That movie taught me one very important thing, though, Mark, which is
What's
that rebook and act. Just out of nowhere, nobody
Yeah.
knew anything about, like,
Mm-hmm.
her being able to act or anything. And she kills it in that movie. She really does. And then she's
Yeah.
never back again, is she? She never shows back up except that one movie.
No, she's only in the first one.
Yep.
I believe like they may mention her briefly in the second one, but
Yeah,
than
her and Michael Gross, those characters separated.
yeah, that's right.
Little fucking mealworm. Sorry.
But yeah, some really cool practical effects. I'm pretty sure that one might have been on the cover of like an old Fango magazine back in the day. But anyway, that's Tremors. That's my number 5. Number 4, I got to go with Total Recall. Another staple of my childhood. That one, I think the last show I called him the Squib King, and he totally is.
Yeah.
Paul Verhoeven is just, he's the best. I mean, the man can do no wrong. There was a period there, I would say, from like 87 to like, I guess maybe 2000.
Even
Love all those
Showgirls.
movies. Showgirls has something there, but it's not quite on the level. That might be the exception.
Has some titties.
Oh yeah,
That's
there
why
you
you
go.
like.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. But yeah,
You love that grape scene where it's like she'd be electrocuted while she's like having the sex in the tub or something. Girl
that's
from Saved
such
by
a
the Bell.
bizarre performance. From
It
her in
is.
movie. I
That
don't
is-
know what the hell that was.
It's almost like she was on all the drugs at one time. It's just like giving a performance based on that.
Yeah,
She's going in and out of like heroin to cocaine to like whatever.
I think I heard that like she was directed that way, possibly. or
Oh yeah,
something.
by Paul Verhoeven. Yeah,
Okay, so that is true. Okay.
that's why she's having sex, but it's like she's being electrocuted. Like,
With Kyle
Like there's the
MacLachlan of all
one
people.
scene too where they ask her like where she's from and she freaks out.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that one's
just odd.
very odd film.
Total Recall though, man. The first thing I think of when you said Total Recall, and that's what made me laugh, was 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean the
Freaking
makeup,
thing.
all that stuff is still killer. Yeah, like Michael Ironside is I just God, he's fucking great in that. I love
Yeah.
his. You could say it's a little bit of overacting, but it's still great. You know, like it's it finds its way of like being entertaining enough to like be passable for me, where it just doesn't bother me at all. And then all the one-liners from Arnold are great. See you at the party, Dixter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so everybody knows Total Recall. This one, however, number 3, I'm going to move on to I Come in Peace.
You leave in pieces, motherfucker. Oh, sorry.
That's right. I mean, that line is amazing. Yeah, so that's Craig Baxley film, I'm pretty sure. And it has Dolph Lundgren at the center. I think Brian Benman's the supporting. Yeah. Okay.
From Dream On, the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're fighting a alien from outer space that's there to shoot people up with heroin and extract it through their brain. So what more could you ask for with a plot like that? That's all you need to know. I mean,
Not much. I love the fact that I've never seen a movie really do that where he says that in order to kind of like lure them, into like thinking that he's passive. He's like, I come in peace, then fucking just kills you immediately. It's great.
Exactly. And I mean, he looks menacing as all hell. He's a huge guy anyway.
Yeah,
The long white hair. Yeah, exactly. The fucking piercing white like eyes with it. He's got the contacts in, but it's an effective, cool look though. I like that. And he's got the disc weapon that shoots out of his arm. It's tuned to the body's electrical charge. It slices your throat.
It's a bit in flavor with the hidden, the buddy cop action.
I could see that.
Sci-fi, R-rated thing.
I could totally see that. And of course, this one ends on like a freeze frame moment, as most movies that were made in the 80s going into the 90s had. But yeah, a lot of cool one-liners, a lot of cool action, great explosions, great stunts. It's got it all. So highly recommend it for anybody in the chat who hasn't seen it. It also goes under another name, which is Dark Angel. Scream Factory did put out the 4K recently, which I haven't checked out yet, but Rambo, I think you got that one.
Yep.
Yeah. My number 2, and this was really tough because I wanted to put it at number 1, but my number 2 is RoboCop 2. I think I'll say it's probably one of the best sequels ever. Very underrated. I know for a while there was like a bit of a hate train going on for RoboCop 2. I don't know what happened for a while.
There still is.
Oh, is it really? Okay. I thought people kind of turned a corner on it, but I guess not.
I like the film, but there's a lot of people who don't. But hey, anytime you get like a little kid who gets killed with RoboCade.
Yeah, I mean that little kid, he's badass. That kid's badass.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of like the most evil character in the film, so he kind of deserves
it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's strangling cops and selling drugs and I mean shooting SMGs. So yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, anytime you have a movie where a robot's addicted to drugs, it's kind of a nice little motif.
I'll just tell you, man, like pretty much anything Tom Noonan's in, I love. It's just one of those things. Like he's one of the best kind of like character actor, side actor, whatever you want to call him. Like that was out there.
Oh yeah,
good. He's great.
Yeah, he's great in it. You have a small cameo sequence with Frank Miller, which is kind of cool considering the comics that he would do for RoboCop. Yeah, I mean, hell, I think we talked about Nancy Allen last time in RoboCop 2. She does a bit more this time. I think you said she's kind of useless in the first movie, but
Well, she kind of just stumbles around and gets knocked out a bunch of times, and he gets fucked up every time.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, she's kind of like leading the charge a little bit in this one too. She's obviously RoboCop's going to do most of the work, but she's still very, very fun to watch in the movie. She's got some cool scenes, and I mean the opening especially. I love how it starts where it's just like all the levels of like crime in the city. I think it starts with like the old lady getting mugged by the guy, and then the hookers rob the guy who robbed the old lady, and they poke out his eyes with their stiletto heels.
Yep.
So, and then you got explosions right after that, blowing up the gun shop, robbing it. RoboCop shows up. It's badass. It's an amazing sequel. Love that one. Definitely, I would say even more violent than the first movie. Would you guys agree with that?
No. I would say the first was more. Well, the guy that turns to Tuts Avenger and explodes, and then the Ed 209 turned the guy into mush. Guy just shot in the balls.
I thought the second one
I
thought the second one was a little bit more cartoony with the kills than the first one was somehow or another. Maybe that's why it seems less violent to me.
It seems like, well, I've seen it probably a bit more than you, but like with that one, I mean, it's still got all the blood and violence as the first one. Maybe not as much, just because the sequences play out differently. But I think it's still as violent. It's certainly leaps and bounds better than the third movie. But
There are people who love the third one more.
that's
They've told me.
insane. A ninja? Come on.
The first thing he went to the ninja.
That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway,
Hey, that guy lost his mind. I know he did the Monster Squad, but he lost his fucking mind. Like he said in the RoboCop 3 making of, if he did RoboCop 3 today, the whole OCP building would turn into a transformer.
I do
If he did
remember
the
that.
movie
Yeah.
today.
That's right. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
And he wrote that the Predator with the autism being the superpower for the Predator. This is
Yeah.
great job, buddy. Yeah, lost away.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
my
Fred
number
Decker
one,
is sorry. I was just gonna say Fred Decker's never been right since the Monster Squad bombed.
that,
He really
Yeah.
hasn't. Like he kind of lost his mind after that.
that's kind of like a whole episode into itself. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell happened to Fred Decker? But
Like, a lot.
yeah, apparently. Number one, Predator 2, no surprise. I mean, where do I even start? I mean, I guess if anybody does have any issues with it, and he's got the Danny Glover action figure. There you go.
Go ahead. He wants to listen, Mark.
Yeah.
He wants to hear what you gotta say.
Like I've said before, it's just like having Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon in there fighting the Predator, only he's dialed up just a bit more. He's got to answer to Gary Busey instead of fighting Gary Busey like he did in Lethal Weapon. And I wish Robert Davi was in it more. I know he's in it briefly. That's if I have any gripes with it, it's probably that because I'm a big Robert Davi fan. But yeah, still very effective sequel. Far cry from the first movie for sure, but it's got all the right beats and great action sequences and set pieces for me that I can't help but love the movie. It is the only great Predator sequel. Just put them closer to the camera. But yeah, the only great Predator sequel to me. As
He's
far
getting
as
too old for this shit, Rambo. You're right though, man. Like there's really no other Predator sequel that comes even close to that. If you think about all the ones that have been made, I think the main reason a lot of people didn't like that movie when it came out is because it wasn't like a carbon copy of the first one. It didn't take place in the jungle.
Mhm.
That's what people wanted. They wanted like a mercenary group in a jungle, kind of same situation again.
Wasn't that part of why Arnold didn't want to do part 2?
Yeah. He didn't like the city setting. He didn't. He thought the script sucked.
Well, he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That script had
Well, he did
King
do
Willie.
Junior.
That's true. He did, amongst other.
He thought getting
Terrible
pregnant
movies.
was a good idea, but you know. Yeah.
He thought that's fine. That makes perfect sense. Huh?
Yeah, but I mean, Bill Paxton in there as well, alongside Danny Glover, delivering some great lines and some really fun set pieces. I think probably the train sequence is probably my favorite. I mean, that whole thing, all the shooting, the chaos from all the characters, just epic stuff. So yeah, everybody knows Predator 2, so I'm not going to go on and on about that one anymore. But yeah, that's my list. I wish I could have put some other ones on there in that top 5. Like I've got like 30 on here, but
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult, man.
very, very difficult. People have no idea.
Okay, pussy face, it's your move.
Yeah.
It's a great line.
It feels like cutting off my dick and shove it up my ass.
How's your balls? Good, how's yours? Anyway, I guess I will go. Honorable mentions will go to for 1990. We'll go to Crybaby, Johnny Depp. I love that movie. That's such a weird movie, man. Like it exists almost
is.
completely unto itself. It's just one of those movies that's not like anything else in that time period. So I don't know how to really describe it. It's like a 50s um like those 50s exploitation movies that they made, except
Mm-hmm.
you know, set in the 90s. So I and all the characters in it are amazing. Hatchet Face, Crybaby, the Tracy Lord's character, they're all I forget her name, but yeah.
Wanda.
Um yeah. So another honorable mention. And I wanted to put this on the list, and I went back and forth with this like 50 times about trying to put this on the list, but I didn't. Maybe I should have. Gremlins 2. Uh quite possibly the best sequel um of any comedy horror film for sure. And like they took that premise and instead of making a straight up sequel, they just made fun of Gremlins the entire time, which was a great idea in hindsight. They took all the Gremlin characters and then made them super like roided up versions of themselves in the first one. Like there's the one that had vegetables and shit all over his face. There's the one that was the genius. There was the, Gremlin Jackie, we used to
The
call her.
Giants. Yeah.
The one that looked like Jackie from WWF. Like, there was there was the goofy one, the bat one, like and they made fun of like all of the horrible dialogue they had in the first movie about like Phoebe Cates is making fun of the holiday thing where she hates Christmas in the first one. I think she hates President's Day or something in Gremlins 2. It's something like that. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to put that on this fucking top 5 now that I think about it, but I'm not going to.
I mean, it's your list. You do whatever you want.
Uh,
Go for it.
Another honorable mention is The Exorcist 3. That came like one friggin' hair of making this list. But there's another film that, if I'm being perfectly honest, I watch like 1,000 times more than Exorcist 3. It's not a good film. It's not nearly like anywhere near the best film on this list, even of the honorable mentions. But there's something about it that is just outstanding to me. And I guess I could just start with it. It's my number 5, Troll 2. So Troll 2 is widely considered the worst film ever made, or it was for a long time before like a couple of different movies came along that might have taken its place. I think it's possibly the most watchable film ever. Like it's got a mixture of unintentional humor, horrible effects, some of the funniest fucking dialogue that doesn't make any sense ever. And so you can't make movies like this intentionally. People have tried to make movies like this, and the key to this is everybody in this film thinks they're making a good movie. They think that they're doing their best to make something that they actually think is going to work.
That's how movies like this become as iconic as they are. Like, thank God he never did the sequel, because around that time when is it Best Worst Movie? That's the documentary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was talking about doing Troll 2 Part 2, and I'm like, don't.
Just you
can't recreate that.
It's because once you realize that what you're trying to do, it will never work.
Exactly.
You can't make that kind of stuff work. It just has to like be organic. Like it has to, like I said, everybody has to think they're just making like a regular movie. Like The Room is a good example of that too. They think they're making, or he at least, Tommy thought he was making like a real movie.
Yeah,
and it's just some of the funniest shit ever. But I could quote you every probably line of dialogue in that movie, from "You can't piss on hospitality," "I won't allow it," which is great, to "Oh my God, they're eating him, they're gonna eat me." Like, I mean, there's 1,000 lines. Pretty much everything anybody says in that movie is hilarious. So unintentionally hilarious, anyway. If you haven't seen it, and I can't imagine that many people haven't seen it, then you should watch it right now. I mean, it's like a cult film at this point, and it's a film I've watched 1,000 times. My number 4 is Jacob's Ladder. I can't think of many films ever that are made like that. Although I did watch a film that wasn't like it, but gave me the same type of feeling. I watched recently The Sentinel, and it's got like some of the same nightmarish quality kind of imagery in it that, and just non sequitur kind of stuff happens like all throughout it, and it just creeps you out. And that's the way it is with Jacob's Ladder. Like, you don't really know what is happening, what's reality, what's fantasy. That whole sequence where, I think he's dancing with the woman, and that fucking tail thing comes up, and like,
In
yeah,
the club,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's just like, what is going on? Like, and you never really do figure out what exactly is going on. Like, um, but yeah, a lot of people have made a lot of out of that movie. A lot of theories about that movie exist about what it's about, especially considering that it's centering around Vietnam and things like that as well. Um, but overall, I just like it because it's so out there that I enjoy movies that take chances like that and that don't really make linear sense in a lot of ways, but have some of the really great creepy imagery that makes it one of the most memorable movies of the 90s, really.
Fully agree.
I think this might be cheating, but I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to put it on this list anyway because it's not necessarily a movie. It's a mini series. It's
We'll
It.
allow it.
My number 3 is It. So
Nice.
when I was a kid, when that came out, like, I watched that over and over and over again. That's probably partially what's wrong with me. I thought it to me, a lot of people will probably balk at this, but to me, like, the kid actors were as good as like Stand By Me.
Yeah.
I like them as much as I did the kids in that movie. Maybe some of them like a little bit more even. I thought it had like a great cast of kids. They cast that perfectly. Now when it gets to the adults, it gets a little bit fucking choppy.
It's gonna say the same thing. They're better
Yeah.
than the adults for sure.
But I don't think that absolutely kills the movie. What would kill it is the ending, but I think you're talking about like 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
film. And the other however long that movie is or that series is outstanding. Man, like, you think about all of the things that happen in that movie, all of the scares that happen in that movie. There's the one where he's in the drain and he just takes his hands and like parts the drain, and that's done so well. It's like claymation, clear, but it's like done so well that it's awesome. And he pops up through there, and the scene where his dad comes up out of the lake and he's holding the balloon and he progressively like changes into the clown. Like, man, that scared the shit out of me. It still kind of freaks me out when I watch it. Like, there's so many good and everybody knows the sewer scene and all that too. I think that actually the new version of it did that scene better because it just went all the way. Like, it took that completely to the end of where you could go with it. But still, like, there's so much. I think that by far Tim Curry is the best Pennywise. I just don't understand how anybody could think differently, but
It damn sure ain't Skarsgård. So
no. And let's see, my number 2, I've got to be honest. I've just got to be honest. Is Home Alone.
Of course.
When going to the theater and seeing that, man, that movie was like a phenomenon. And it's a movie that I can watch anytime. Like, still to this day, most people watch it around Christmas, but if that movie came on right now, I could watch it. Like, it's got great acting, it's got a great cast, it's got, Culkin and Pesci and Catherine O'Hara. It's got like,
would you say it's your favorite John Hughes movie?
oh shit.
Well,
Man.
technically it's not a John Hughes movie, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, God.
Breakfast Club, Planes.
I was
Trains.
gonna say, like, maybe I would say that. I don't know. I mean, that dude did like 10 movies that are all outstanding. So it's hard to like to narrow that down. But it's definitely would be in my top 3, I would say. Um, it's a great movie. You talk about nostalgia, man. When that movie came out, like everybody went to see that movie. Everybody loved that movie. Everybody wanted to be Macaulay Culkin. Everybody was setting traps and shit. Like that just became like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, and that's probably part of it too. But I think a lot of it's got to do with they cast the exact right person for that role.
Hmm.
Like you could not have picked anybody better to be that kid in that
No.
role. So yeah, my number 2, and then my number 1 is Goodfellas. I don't think I think I could. That's another movie I could watch any point in time.
So close to putting that one on my list, but
I think
we
it's
just
the
didn't.
I think it's the best mafia movie. I like
Mm-hmm.
Godfather 1 and 2. I like shit like Carlito's Way. I like, name any of them and any kind of mobster, kind of mafia movie. But I think that Goodfellas is for my money like the best one.
Easily.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
it's got you talk about a perfect cast. Like you got De Niro, you got Pesci, you got Ray Liotta, like, and they all work so well off each other. And you never for a second believe that any of that stuff's not happening. Like it seems like so natural what's going on in that movie and the way that they are inside those characters. Like they just inhabit that shit, man. Like I don't know how, but you really feel like you're watching mobsters do like mob shit. Like
Yeah.
it never feel. And I think a lot of that has to do with Pesci too. Like he's just so good
Uh,
in that movie.
Yeah.
Um, and scene after scene after scene that are memorable in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Where the scene where Pesci gets whacked, the opening sequence where he's like, ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a gangster, and then that
Mm-hmm.
opens up the whole thing. And the sequence where they're walking through the bar, and it's like they're naming all the different characters, and it's like one shot, and they follow
Mm-hmm.
him all the way around. It's just everything about that movie, man. It's got the perfect tone, music. Of course, it's got great music because he's notorious for actually using soundtracks and things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
soundtrack music. I don't know. I can't think of a better movie like that.
You get a little taste of that again from Pesci in Casino.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not quite the same, but you get a little bit of it again.
Yep. You do. I really don't know which one of those movies I like better now that I think about it. But I mean, they're basically the same type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. That'll come back up later. But that's my list for 90.
Good
So
stuff.
let's see. If you guys want to drop your list in there, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking I'm going last, but I ain't. Sorry about that.
okay. I guess that would be my turn.
Yes.
So for the 3 honorable mentions, I have to put this on there because it's got close to the top 5, but this is to me literally one of the most underrated action comedies. The guy then get into the hottest clubs and into the hottest chicks. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Easily, I think one of the most underrated films out there. That Andrew Dice Clay is so fucking hilarious in that movie. Like every line, like, "What's the definition of vagina? A box of penis comes in." Yeah, what are your names? Neil and Bob, or is that like what you do? Don't worry, if you fall, I'll make it.
Yeah. I love Dice. Yeah.
And it's like when he's talking to the tourists, like, "We're from Wisconsin." They're like, "Well, yeah, and I'm from my dad's penis. No, get the hell out of here." Just everything about that is such a fantastic parody. Like people didn't understand, like that is a perfect parody of action films where everything blows up, including the house blows up, then he gets his car, and then that blows up, and it's just how everything blows up. How you have the friend who dies, only it's the damn koala bear that he got as a gift as Hun. The batteries came and Hun the koala bear. The out of the blue happy ending, we're on the cruise ship, and he's like, "You didn't think we killed the fucking koala bear, did you?" To the villain who won't die, which Robert England is hilarious in that. he keeps telling him TV on his head, but he will not die. And then let's go, mano to mano. And he puts the gun down and he shoots him. Use your head, snapperhead. What the hell does mano to mano mean? Or the thing where like the two women wake up and go out of his bed, and the first thing he does is do my dishes. And come on, you got Wayne Newton as your villain. I mean, how can you go on with Wayne Newton as your villain? I love the Adventures of Ford Fairlane. I'd watch that anytime and laugh my ass off. The other two Mark mentioned, Total Recall and The First Power. I agree with all that was said. Total Recall, The Ultra Violence by Paul Verhoeven. You got a good story, wondering what if it's real, if it's a dream. Buck Ironside is a great villain, as well as Ronnie Cox with the line, "I'm gonna blow this up, be home for cornflakes."
Yeah.
Arnold is great because this is the voice, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you got three titties, nothing wrong with that. At least that's unique. Good effects by Rob Bottin. And then The First Power, yes, I love that film. Saw that on VHS. I love the mix of cop and supernatural angle. And yeah, good set pieces. Big Lou Diamond Phillips fan. LTP for life for me. And Jeff Kober's a great villain. Great score by, I want to say, Stuart Copeland or something of that nature. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, love The First Power. Underrated film. I wish they had kept the original ending. I wish they could have found that, but sadly it wasn't on the Blu-ray or anything when it came out.
Which Blu-ray do you have for that?
I have the I forget who released it. Was it not Tino Lorber? Was it? I forget what it was.
Kino did put one out, and then I have another one. Oh, God, I can't even remember where it's from. It's back there somewhere. It'd take me like a year to find it, but I think it does have some additional features. When we're off stream, I'll look for it, so I'll have some time.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
First Power.
Oh, 88 Films. I've got that version of it. They released it too.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay. Is there more features than the Kino? Do you have the Kino too?
I don't have the Kino though.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't have the Kino. But yeah.
Okay. But again, the top five. Number 5, one that you mentioned, Jacob's Ladder. Love Jacob's Ladder. To me, is easily one of the most underrated horror films, definitely of the 90s. I think Tim Robbins deserves some kind of award nomination. He just gave such an emotionally powerful performance. Well, you just felt everything he went through. Like, if there's a guy to feel sorry for, it's him. Whether it be being almost frozen while getting to the bathtub, whether it be the hospital from hell scene, just some really trippy, unique visuals, pretty much all done in camera. That I agree definitely has a great creepy vibe and feeling to it. Beautiful score, great script by the same guy who would go on to write Ghost, which I think came out the same year, I believe, 1990. And yeah, I love Jacob's Ladder.
There's some movies that don't age well, man, and Ghost is one of them fucking movies to me. It's like, I mean, I enjoy it or whatever, but it's so sappy and shit. It fucking makes them clay.
Man, that was such a big movie though when it came out.
I like Ghost, goddamn it. I like Ghost.
Oh my love. Yeah, make this goddamn clay pot with me.
Need some goddamn heart in there, for fuck's sake. Come on. Nothing wrong with the clay. Is that like they put on their bodies and fucking in the clay? Put on their dick for condom clay.
Patrick Swayze, get over here and make this clay pot with me. Shit.
But yeah, I was going to say, Jacob's Ladder, definitely number 5. And yes, the deleted scenes, even those are fantastic. Deserves a better release. Hopefully one day Jacob's Ladder does get a better release. Number 4, Tremors, for the same reasons Mark had on his list. Fantastic camaraderie between Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Great creature effects work. Very well-paced movie. The humor works very well. The chemistry between the characters work well. Pretty much everybody in that cast does a great job, and there's humor, but it never becomes full parody. And Tremors is just a whole lot of fun. Very fun film. Very rewatchable movie. Arrow Video did a great job on their release.
Hmm.
Number 3, of course, I have to put, which, the thumbnails are for a reason. And I put this movie on there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Childhood favorite of mine. Uh, Part of my username, why I'm called that way, because of my love for those characters. I grew up with it just like some people grew up with He-Man. Some people grew up with Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever. Beef was Ninja Turtles. And I love it. I love that it was a bit more like the comic book. It was still a kid's film, but you're kind of surprised by how, for a kid's film, they went a bit darker. Yeah, the Father Family Ties. Michael Gross is great in Tremors. He's the only good thing in some of those sequels, man. I'll tell you, 3 and 4, like he's the only thing worth the shit.
Even
Yeah,
he said that those movies weren't great.
well, he's right.
Yeah, they're not.
But yeah, number 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the Jim Henson suit work. I love how they went a bit darker. Uh, I love that they have some good fight sequences. I think the guy who worked on the Karate Kid worked on the martial arts scenes, so that was very well. I think the humor works for what kind of film it is as a kid's film, and it's still entertaining to this day. Although Corey Feldman sucks.
He
He
does.
sucked as Donatello. He's a
He did.
shitty voice.
Yep.
I never liked him. Fuck Corey Feldman. He's a piece of shit. And his
He's
acting's a piece
nice.
of shit.
I just want to say though, one
Yeah.
thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, unless you were born in that time, you have no idea how popular that shit was.
Mhm.
It was like everywhere. It was huge at that time period. I don't know how. I mean, I know how, I guess, but it's like you wouldn't think something called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be like the biggest thing for years for kids. Like it was though, and you really had to be a part of that to know.
Mhm.
I can only think it was because, I can only assume this is what happened to me, was as a kid, I would grow up watching those ninja movies on VHS, like American Ninja. Um, that's okay. You don't have to. Fuck you, BA, goddammit. What's the bitch ass? Is that what the BA stand for? I need to see it, goddammit.
That'd be killer if you were really like that about anybody that didn't like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like fuck you.
I should do that just for the shit of it.
Yeah.
But thank you, BA. But I forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
If
I'm
I get
shitty
any
guy.
gripe with that movie, I
Sure.
just wish that the fight sequence at the end with Shredder was a little longer.
Yeah.
I love the music during that fight sequence. That's my favorite piece of music in the movie. It feels very climactic. It's got all the right beats and moments for me. Love watching that scene, but I just wish it was a little longer.
Well, yeah. But last thing I'll say about it, I think what it is for people like me is growing up with action films, watching action films like Rambo 2 Commando, and then again those American Ninja films and the Sho Kasudi films. So you're in this action film mindset, but then here's something your parents would actually allow you to watch without you sneaking around. They're animals, so in a way, as a kid, is like more kid friendly because it's like if the Muppet Babies do more shorts or something. It's like okay. Uh, so in a way, kind of melding the two was definitely prominent for a little kid because they want to see action, but at the same time, it seemed like a friendly face on it. But yeah, love that film a lot. I could go on and on about it, but I don't want this to be 3 hours long. Number 2, I Come in Peace for the same reasons Mark said. I love the back and forth between Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben. I love the action set pieces. Trader Baxley, the second film he did after Action Jackson, then after he would do Stone Cold. Great action director. He used a lot for his low budget. Excellent stunt work. Like I said, I love the alien motif where he injects people with heroin, but then he puts a spike through people's noggins to suck out their endorphins because that's the drug of choice. So I love the fact of an alien drug dealer from outer space. Very unique idea. Like I said, good stunt work all around. Very fast pace. Cool that takes place on Christmas. Jan Hammer did the score, which is fantastic. Who did Miami Vice TV show? Yeah, I Come in Peace is one of those action films I could watch and just have a whole lot of fun. And I do love that line, "You go in pieces, asshole." I love that. And then, of course, number one is Predator 2. I did for the reasons Mark said. I love the first Predator, but the second one, like I watched the first Predator so much and I love it a lot, but because I watched it so much as a kid, I don't watch it as much as I used to. But then throughout my teen adult years, I watched Predator 2 more, to the fact that as much as I love Predator, Predator 2 is my favorite of all of them. Because I just love the city motif. I love that cop angle mixed in with a sci-fi horror. I love the city setting. I love the cast like Bill Paxton, Maria Conchita Alonso. Gary Busey's insane in that movie, and I love it. Danny Glover is so underrated in that role for the lines that was mentioned before. And I love the action sequences. I love the fast pace of it. There's just a lot I love about that film. And even with the little bit of the Predator, where if you watch the film, it has like a personal grudge against Danny Glover. I thought that was a nice added bit where it like take the necklace and in the cemetery, like personally mess with and hunt Danny Glover. I thought that was a really cool addition. So all those little things really added. So, like you said, it wasn't a carbon copy sequel, where people got mad about that. But I'm like, isn't that what you want? But people were mad that Arnold wasn't in it. But if Arnold was in it, it would have been just the same movie. And I'm like, he did Total Recall, which was great, and then Danny Glover did this, which I thought was great. So I thought it worked out for the best on both of them. So
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it feels different. I mean, it is different. I like the jungle setting, and it's cool that Arnold's the big badass, muscled out mercenary. That's cool. But I also like the street cop aspect.
Yeah.
Like that's just as cool to me, just albeit different, So and for anybody that wanted to shit on Stephen Hopkins, this is definitely one of his best. I mean, for all the hate you might give him for what is it, Dream Child that he did, watch Predator 2. There you go.
yeah, or Judgment Night.
Or Judgment.
Judgment Night's amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So here's some picks from the chat. Total Recall, I Come in Peace, House Party, Goodfellas, RoboCop 2.
Nice.
House Party. Everybody loved that movie. Let's see. Goodfellas, Miller's Crossing, Darkman, Mr. Frost, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, Nightbreed, Trimmers, Jacob's Ladder. Yep. What else we got here, ladies and gentlemen? Come on. There's got to be some more fuckers in the chat that have got some stuff posted. Surely. Oh, here we go. Honorable mentions. Yeah, RoboCop, Days of Thunder, Problem Child, Darkman, King of New York.
Everybody drop their you linen and stop you grinning. What's your top 5 1990? God damn it.
Home Alone, Predator, Total Recall. Wait, Predator 2, sorry. Total Recall, Goodfellas, and Child's Play 2. Honorable mentions Tremors, TMNT, and Lionheart.
Nice Lionheart. I thought Lionheart was 91.
I don't know, man. Like sometimes these things, I can never really tell what the year is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have it on here for 90.
Home Alone, Look Who's Talking. Was Look Who's Talking? There's another one. I don't know if it was 90. Like I said, we talked about that last time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Die Hard 2, and Predator 2.
Of course, I love Die Hard 2. Love that one.
Yeah, man, what the hell are you thinking? I Come in Peace, Darkman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Predator 2, Tremors, Total Recall, RoboCop,
RoboCop 2,
and Home Alone. Yep. Okay. Jacob's Ladder, Die Hard 2, Hunt for Red October, La Femme Nikita, and Mountains of the Moon. Loves La Femme Nikita though. Yeah. Wasn't there a movie like Point of No Return or something like that that was kind of a rip off of that?
It was a remake. It was a
Yeah.
remake, American remake. Bridget Fonda, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! Hard to Kill,
Yeah.
I Come in Peace, Predator, Death Warrant, and Total Recall.
I like all those
All right.
choices.
So
me too.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: it took us an hour to get through 1 year. We're gonna have to speed this shit up. 1991.
Wow, I
Let's
had
go.
no idea.
I
didn't
tried
even
to
know where
speed it
we're
up.
at now.
I tried to speed it up.
Let's go. I ain't even gonna say shit. I'm just gonna go through the movies and maybe say a couple things.
Should we not do honorable mentions, maybe, or
We'll just go through them, Mark.
Just just go through the honorable
Okay.
mentions, but maybe not give any detail about them, and then
okay?
we'll get to-
Toy Soldiers was an honorable mention for 91. Showdown in Little Tokyo and Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, enough said about those. Number 5, Cape Fear. Probably
such a good movie, man. It's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
probably one of my favorite Scorsese's. Might be in my top 5 Scorsese. De Niro is just fantastic in it. Goes all out with his performance. The whole scene with Ilena Douglas is classic. Where he ends up biting her. For any of you guys that might not have seen it, that's what happens. But again, I'm trying not to go too much detail because we got to go quick. Yeah, Nick Nolte, solid remake. One of my favorites, though, from Scorsese, as I already said. So I'm going to go on to number 4. This one might surprise some people. I was almost not going to put this on the list, but I couldn't think of anything else that was as fun to watch around this time that had to do with this kind of subject matter. So I just threw it on there. Number 4, New Jack City.
I thought about putting that on there, man. That was a killer movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? Nino Brown, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's Mario Van Peebles, Judd Nelson, Ice-T, Wesley Snipes. Who am I forgetting?
Chris Rock is a
Chris Rock. That's
Chris
right.
Rock. Getting Chris Rock like a crackhead in it. That
Yes,
like,
he is.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's basically the crack epidemic that was going on in the early '90s. Wesley Snipes is a crack kingpin, takes over a major city project, has a tons of workers like working for him. Ice-T and Judd Nelson team up to take him down, and they send in Chris Rock after he gets clean to sort of infiltrate the whole thing. And yeah, it's quite a few really cool shootout sequences in it, and very violent movie though. But man, I mean, it's got everything you want if you like those types of crime movies.
There's
Especially-
one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's one that I'm wondering if it makes your list. Just knowing you like I do, I wonder if this movie is on there. I'm just really curious.
Okay. You talking about Cool as Ice?
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's on Rambo's list. No, definitely not. Number 3, Point Break. I had to put that on there. I grew up with Point Break. I know Rambo. I know.
For fuck's sake.
I had to.
Wait, you don't like Point Break?
I think I feel fucking
Me and
suck.
him have gone back and forth.
What the
over this on
fuck?
his channel a million
What is
times.
good
Wow.
about the movie? I don't give a
What's
shit.
not good about
Everything
it?
is good
Oh my
about the
God.
movie. What's not? Yeah.
Keanu sucks. I don't
No,
give a
he
shit
doesn't.
about surfing.
What?
I am an FBI agent.
what the shit is?
It's
Is some sort of alternate universe? or
If you love
something?
surfing, all this is a bunch of fucking surfing. Fast and Furious was even better than that. And it was the same plot.
Blasphemy.
I am at a loss. I am just.
What's good about it?
I don't
All
know.
the
Anthony Kiedis
action.
getting his ass kicked.
I was going to say all the action scenes, everything.
Gary
I don't- it's
Busey
great.
ordering like.
All I remember is
hoagies.
surfing. A lot of surfing.
Gary Busey is a cop in it. He's Keanu Reeves' partner. How could you not?
That's right.
I'm just
Well, go ahead, Mark.
Utah. 2.
Yeah, give me 2.
Sorry.
Give me 2.
2 pieces of shit.
Damn it.
Oh, since this is kind of a controversial one, at least for Rambo, chat, chime in. What do you guys think of Point Break?
Don't give a fuck.
I just want to see if me and Uncle Bill.
Go
are
ahead and
crazy.
tell me more. Why you like it.
Yeah. Well, you guys know why I like it, but yeah, I mean, Point Break is awesome.
I don't. That's why I asked.
Well, you know why I like it. All the action is great. I don't mind the surfing aspect. I don't think it's that much of a bore like you do. I know you've mentioned you hate the skydiving scene, which is literally like 3 minutes of the movie. It's not like it's the whole movie. I think it's great. I love the undercover aspect of it. And I mean, I'm a sucker for bank robbery movies anyway, especially if they're pulled off as fun as this one is, in my opinion. So
I would watch Heat then for that. For bank robbery.
I like Heat, but again, you can't watch Heat all the time. You got to mix it up a little bit.
Here you go, man.
You have to be high to enjoy the film, maybe. Fuck Point Break. It's a piece of shit. Boring as fuck. If you like surfing,
Oh my god, he's killing me.
all that fucking film has is surfing and people in president masks.
I wasn't aware that anybody didn't like Point Break. I just thought that was a given.
I don't know.
I never will understand the love for that film. I've watched it 3 times. It bores the shit out of me each time. That fucking ending where it's like, oh yeah, you killed all these people. I'll just let them go into the fucking ocean and ooh. I don't give a fuck. Shoot them in the face. You got your partner killed. He got you, Gary Busey, your partner killed. Oh, that's okay. I'll let him go to swim in the fucking ocean.
Oh, Gary Busey got himself killed in that scene.
Yeah.
He
was a
wasn't
shitty
covering his
FBI
own
agent.
ass.
And I like Keanu Reeves, but he was a shitty actor in that movie. And I like Keanu. He fucking sucked in that film.
But Lori Petty? I mean, any
I don't watch In the Army now for Lori Petty.
Gary Busey,
Tank Girl.
Anybody know? Patrick Swayze? No? Okay.
Wow.
I don't watch Ghost for Swayze.
I know you will.
You will. I love that. Beautiful. You gotta have some heart, man. Have some heart. Go ahead, Mark.
All right.
This is why we fuck around and we wait.
I know.
It takes 2 hours to do this shit.
But yeah, all right. I'm gonna move on from that one. Last Boy Scout, number 2.
Right here.
Oh my god.
Well, there you go.
Sorry. All right, go ahead.
God. Yeah, number 2, Last Boy Scout. I think it's my favorite Tony Scott movie. It's got some great sequences with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, who I think actually had some good chemistry together, despite anything that may or may not have went on set between the two of them. But yeah, it's a fun movie. Really cool action sequences. I mean, that's kind of Tony Scott's signature. You want some solid action, you check out his stuff. You're probably not going to be disappointed at all. Yeah, so that's number 2. Everybody knows Last Boy Scout, so I'm not going to dig into that too much.
Movie.
Touch me again, I'll kill you.
Unlike Point Break, it's an actual good action movie.
Oh, come on.
Shit.
That's a movie worth the shit.
Yeah. I love all the jokes in it, by the way. Those jokes still hold up.
Swear to God.
It's great. and T2 is my number 1. Do I need to say anything about Terminator 2 from 1991? I mean, come on. So that's it. To speed things up, you guys go ahead.
All right. I have so many honorable mentions. The one that I thought was going to be on there, Mark, was not on there. But
I might have it written down, though, because I have a ton written down, but I only wanted to list 3.
I'm going to put my honorable mentions as Toy Soldiers. I love that movie, man. I love that movie. I don't think that movie's out on anything. Is it like Blu-ray or anything?
It's on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to get it.
I have it on like a double feature Blu-ray, though. But it still looks good.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Love that movie.
Like that one, too.
And I'll go with Hot Shots as my honorable mention. I think that might be one of my favorite comedies like that too, from the 90s especially. My number 5 is Ricochet. Anybody remember Ricochet?
Of course, I had that one
Man,
written down, but I couldn't put it
Denzel.
anywhere.
that's got to be one of the most underrated drama, crime, cop movie, whatever you want to call that, like of that era. It's a great movie, man. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I saw that movie at the theater and then like watched it when it came out on VHS at the time and things too. And I just never understood why it didn't get bigger than it did. Um, I just think that like I said, we don't have a lot of time to like
Right.
reminisce about these movies. Or anything. It had a great villain,
Hmm.
an amazing villain. Now that I think about it,
Yeah,
Uh,
John Lithgow is
John
amazing.
Lithgow is absolutely insanely
Lithgow
good.
makes that hooker give Denzel an STD. So
Yeah, yeah.
how could you not love that?
I mean, everything about it is just like him fucking him over like throughout the whole movie and just
Hmm.
trying like get him in trouble in different ways. And the ending is great too. And of course, anything Denzel's in is great. So I pick Ricochet for my number 5, 100%. Um, my number 4 is not going to be a surprise to anybody. It's The Last Boy Scout. I think it's possibly after Die Hard my favorite Bruce Willis movie. I just think that that's one of his best roles. Like his delivery in that is amazing. He's the perfect like burnout cop. The
And it's
whole
almost effortless too. Like,
it is, yeah.
yeah.
The whole thing where he like finds his friend is cheating with his wife. And he's like, if you don't open that door, I'll put 2 bullet holes in it or something like that. He just comes out of there. Like, I love that whole scene. The whole scene with Milo, that fucking guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
great.
Milo, where are you calling from the bottom of the pool?
Yeah. And what's the guy's name that's like the owner of the football team or whatever, who's the lead heel? Um, he's great
Oh,
in
yeah.
it too. Like the old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Walter Texas Ranger. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he's great. I just love the action sequences in that movie. I think the dialogue is what makes that movie the best, though, to me. Like you said, the interactions between him and Wayans and him and like all the bad guys in the movie are great. Like
Mhm.
all the one-liners and shit that he comes up with, perfect.
Mhm.
My number 3 is Boys in the Hood. Listen,
I have it on
like,
here. I couldn't find a spot for it.
I mean, man, I don't know how many times I've watched that movie, but like that whole sequence, I'm trying to remember his name because he's screaming it at him when he gets shot. I can't remember what
Ricky.
the fuck is Ricky. Yeah,
guy.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Where Ricky gets shot, and then like
Mhm.
they go back and they find the guys and everything, and like it's just that whole thing is perfect. And then Lawrence Fishburne gives him that talk when he's wanting to go out with him and stuff. That
Mhm.
whole fucking sequence is amazing. And there's the scene too where Fishman's outside and he's talking to him about like gentrification and all that stuff. And like he's kind of like the preacher character or whatever of the city at that point.
Mhm.
Man, there's so many great scenes in that movie too. And it's basically Ice Cube's, I think it's Ice Cube's first film, isn't it? Like it's
I
his,
think. Yeah.
if it's not, it's his like big introduction to where he was like, okay, this guy can really act because he really seems like he is that character in the
Mhm.
movie. And everybody's good in it. Cuba Gooding Jr. is good in it, even though he might have been hanging out with Puff Daddy. We don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, but anyway, love that movie. My number 2 is T2. Um, I saw that movie 6 or 7 times in the theater. I can't remember. I went like almost every day. Like that's how much. That's how much I love that movie. It was definitely the movie I saw the most in the theater of any film that I've ever seen. At the time, it was mind blowing. The effects, the action sequences, it
Mhm.
was completely like state of the art. One of the best action films ever made, 100%.
Mhm.
And my number 1 is Silence of the Lambs. It's possibly, I don't think I consider it a horror film. I don't even know what the hell I consider it, but like in terms of crime dramas, it's possibly like my favorite one. I think that Jodie Foster's brilliant. Anthony Hopkins is brilliant. Ted, what's his last name? Plays Buffalo Bill, is brilliant.
Ted Levine.
Ted Levine. Everybody in that film and everything about that film, I could watch it over and over and over again. The pace, the sequences, the way that it's like set up, all of the everything like about it is classic to me. Um, the psychiatric ward that he's held at, all the stuff that happens with Buffalo Bill, the whale, and all that stuff. Like every plot point and every like sequence is just completely memorable to me.
Mhm.
And I think it's possibly the best serial killer crime thing that's ever been made. So that's my number one. Yeah. Was she like a great big fat person? Yeah.
So for me, the honorable mentions, I'll pick three real quick. The People Under the Stairs, one of my favorite Wes Craven films.
Hell yeah.
Love the cast. Love what it says about the rich and the poor stuff. I know they don't do a remake and they'll screw it up, but I do love the original People Under the Stairs.
Love it.
Lionheart, one of my favorite Van Damme films with a very rousing finale.
Mm-hmm.
And Body Parts. I think Eric Red is a very underrated talent. He wrote The Hitcher. He directed Body Parts.
Bad Moon as well.
Yeah, I think it's Jeff Fahey, one of his best performances. It has some good action set pieces and some nice violence, some shotgun fun in the finale. Much better version of The Hand, the Michael Caine film. Definitely much more of that visceral action film quality that Eric Red gives to it. So really do like Body Parts. Number 5, The Last Boy Scout, for the same reason these guys said. Wonderful script, great cast. Tony Scott, one of my favorite directors, may rest in peace. Love the action, love the dialogue. Oh, yeah, you just tripped over and you did fail my wife. I know it's a bad week. Sorry, I gotta give my warm cup of piss.
Yeah.
Oh, Santa Claus is out there. Be prepared. That's my motto. Be prepared. So, yeah, I agree with you. One of my favorite Bruce Willis performances. Just a great script. That would not be made today. So
No.
like the way he gets his wife back is to call her a piece of shit and ugly. I don't want to punch you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Spit in your face. Number 4, Showdown Little Tokyo. I love the
I forgot all about that one.
Brandon Lee, Dolph Lundgren. I love the way they work together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a video game Double Dragon, the movie. Kerry Tagawa's your villain. One of the like shortest, fastest paces, like an hour and 15 minutes, because they cut all the drama out,
Mm-hmm.
all the fat out. Is just literally just action from beginning to end. With some really crazy. I mean, Brandon Lee was great. Showed before the Crow that he had a wonderful talent. Big fan of Dolph, and some crazy dialogue. Like when they're together, and it's Brandon Lee just. Yeah. Oh, Tia Carrera, you get to see her naked, which is a plus. And like he says the line, "You have the biggest dick I've seen on a man," and he's like, "Thanks."
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, love Showdown Low Tokyo. Mark L. Lester, who did Class of 1999 and others, Commando. Number 3, The Perfect Weapon. Love Jess Speedman in that. I mean, Uncle Bill did a review for that. Everything he said about that, I agree. Film I grew up watching, made me a fan of Jeff Speakman. Great tempo moves, very straightforward pace, excellent action sequences, a good symbol of 90s action. What you do with simplicity, but you have a guy who could have been a breakout star, but sadly things didn't work out. Again, love The Perfect Weapon. Number 2, Out for Justice with Steven Seagal. Hey, Richie, I wonder who do Bobby Lupo.
You might seen Richie. You might know why Richie did Bobby Lupo.
Don't be a bad guy. Be a good guy. Okay. You fuck nuts. when he kissed the guy who dropped the puppy. As much as I crap on Steven Seagal, it's my favorite Steven Seagal film. It's him in Brooklyn. I love, good or bad, I love his Brooklyn accent. I love William Forsythe as the villain. And some good violence. He shoots the guy's leg off in the finale. He takes a cue ball, beats the shit out of someone's face, or his teeth are spitting out.
Then the movie opened with like William Forsythe like smoking crack or meth or something. Then he like
Something
blows
like
somebody's
that.
brains out right in the street.
And then Seagal
Crazy.
is like beating up a pimp and throws him right through the car window, the windshield. And the movie literally starts like the credits right through the broken windshield. I love Alfred Justice. Wish he would do movies like that again. And number one,
Sorry, I was trying to imagine him doing movies like that now. I don't think it would work out unless he has like one of those scooters, a rascal scooter.
Sally, no.
Oh.
And then number one, as a follow-up to the 1990 list, this is more of a childhood nostalgia. Ninja Turtles 2 See Through the Ooze, although fuck Vanilla Ice, he's a piece of shit. But I love the characters. I love the turtles.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go, go, go. You trying to tell me you don't love that?
No. As much, even as a kid, I was pissed. But
I was too, sadly.
But I loved everything else. Yes, I wish it was darker. I wish it was more action. But as goofy and silly it is, it worked for me. I love the effects by Jim Henson. I like that Corey Feldman wasn't in it. I thought the guy who replaced it was much better. And I still think it's a lot of fun. I think the dialogue is pretty funny. I like Ernie Reyes Jr. as Kino. There's a lot of stuff I liked about that film, but it's definitely nostalgia based. I can admit.
Me, Kino. Rap's in trouble.
And we'll shout out to BA. Yeah, thanks for the super chat. The companion piece to New Jack City is Sugar Hill. I haven't seen Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
You know, it's nowhere near as entertaining. I like Sugar Hill, but it's very, very slow by comparison. There's not a lot of on-screen violence at all. It's more so implied violence than anything. Clarence Williams III is great in it, but it's the exact opposite of New Jack City in my opinion.
Let's see. Terminator 2, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Hook, TMT 2, and Child's Play 3.
Sure.
91, we've got, there we go, Terminator 2, Hook, New Jack City, What About Bob, and Showdown. Yeah, that's all pretty much around the same, what we're talking about. The Perfect Weapon, Point Break, Boys in the Hood, Double Impact. Yep. Well, I love Double Impact. That's another one, too, that I do love.
So do
I. City Slickers. That's not one. JFK is the one I thought would be on your list, Mark. I don't know why we're such a conspiracy guy. I thought for sure that was going to be on there.
I mean, it's that. I mean, Stone Cold and a ton of others. Like, there's too many.
Yeah, I love JFK. Love City Slickers as well.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. New Jack City, Lionheart, The Last Boy Scout, The People Under the Stairs, Body Parts, Jeff Fahey's Body Parts. All good choices. Boys in the Hood, Cape Fear, T2, Silence of the Lambs, Reservoir Dogs. I think is Reservoir. Well,
That's 92, I think.
that's
Reservoir
definitely
Dogs.
92 because it's on my list. So
Same here. Yeah.
yeah.
Good movie though.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Let's see here. I don't know how far down I got. Okay, well, let's do 92.
Okay. Yeah, we're already at hour and 20 minutes, so here we go. 92.
92 wasn't like, I thought for some reason 92 was going to be a big year, like have a lot of films, but it wasn't as big to me as some of the others.
You know, I mean, I got a lot of stuff up here. This was really tough, man. There's so many great action movies. That's the thing. Like, I'm a sucker for 90s action, so.
I get to it now, goddammit.
I got like 40 movies on here.
Well, you whittle it down, motherfucker. You can't have 40.
Okay.
Take 2 hours alone for that 40.
Honorable mentions. Trespass. I really
that's
enjoyed
a great movie. Yeah.
It's
forgot about that.
double the Ice Cube and Ice-T in the same movie. Just going crazy. But you also got William Sadler and Bill Paxton as it's funny because like you could kind of look at it two different ways. Are they the protagonist or the antagonist, or is it the other way around? You know what I mean?
Yep.
What's up, Rambo? I saw you shaking your head for a second.
No, go ahead. I didn't say anything.
You don't like Trespass either?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Go ahead, though. I'm not going to say anything. I didn't
it's-
say a word. I'm just being honest. Never did.
Well, now I gotta hear why.
I love the fact that he won't say shit, but if somebody asks, he'll be like deadly honest about it. No.
What's the issue with Trespass? Real quick, tell us.
We're not doing a worst list. You're doing a fave list.
No,
You go
I'm
for it.
I'm just curious.
It takes
I
too
wanna know
long to
why.
explain.
What?
I just don't like it. I think it's boring.
Okay.
I don't remember any action from it. I don't care about the characters.
No, it's
the
more
heroes
so.
are dumb as fuck, and then the villains are the villains. So I don't give a shit who wins.
Yeah, it's not really an action movie. It's more so like it's a treasure movie, really.
I watch Indiana Jones.
But
Firewalker.
Indiana Jones doesn't go to the hood. This takes place in the hood, though.
Well, so does Leprechaun, but that wasn't good either.
Yeah, it was. Leprechaun of the Hood is
It
awesome.
actually was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, teach their own. Not for me.
This is a whole other show, just going back
Yeah,
and
we
forth
need
with
to-
Rambo.
Hey, I'm just being honest.
All right.
Did you like it?
No, all right. So I'm going to keep going. We could go all night with that. Honorable mention. This almost made my list as well. Unforgiven. We all know what that is. Amazing. God, we only get 3. Damn. So I'll say Night Moves with Christopher Lambert. I think it's pretty underrated. It's kind of like a slasher movie, but a detective movie at the same time. I wish I could go into it deeper, but we don't have a lot of time.
Tom Skerritt in that?
I don't think so.
Oh, anyway, sorry.
One of the
Maybe
Baldwins is in it. Oh God, I can't even remember which one. I'm going to keep going though.
not the one who shot someone.
No, not Alec. Number 5, Passenger 57. This one, I'm a big mark for the Wesley Snipes stuff, especially the 90s Snipes. That was his decade for sure. Pretty much rise and fall all in the same decade for him. Oh, I think we lost Uncle Bill. Is he still there for you? Or
No,
he's
maybe the internet got pissed. I was talking about Trespass. But you can keep going.
Yeah,
you may
I'll
come back
keep
later
going.
on.
All right, yeah. So, oh, he's completely gone. Yeah,
He
so
probably knew,
it's-
so he probably went out and then he'll come back in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's Die Hard on a plane, basically. Terrorists
Ben
take
Black.
over a plane. Yeah, exactly. Some great lines in there. Fun stuff. Wesley takes out all the terrorists on a plane. That's all you need to know.
Of course.
Yeah. Number 4, Reservoir Dogs. Don't really need to say anything. Tarantino's feature film debut. Amazing cast. Excellent movie that takes place all in one location. Yeah, Reservoir Dogs, enough said. Number 3, one of the best comedies of the year, probably the best comedy of the year, White Man Can't Jump. Still holds a special place in my heart till this day. The dialogue is fantastic. Great
Fucking
chemistry.
Rosie Perez in that movie is great.
Yes, great chemistry between Wesley and Woody. We only got, I think, Money Train after that, and then they didn't do a third one, which they should have. I'm still holding out hope that it'll happen one day. Yeah, so White Man Can't Jump. Basketball, sports comedy, basically is what it is. Number 2, Universal Soldier. Easily my favorite Roland Emmerich movie, and he doesn't have a lot of favorites for me. But, yeah, he lost his way somewhere, him and Dean Devlin. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, it's prime Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren versus each other. I still have to say it's my favorite Van Damme movie, just because it's him and Dolph going head to head. That end fight sequence is still one of my favorites for both guys. Tons of great action, great music, cool idea. Soldiers that are dead are reanimated essentially and programmed to fight even after death. And then number 1, Batman Returns. One of my favorite Batman movies. it's that and Dark Knight. I think are my two favorites. Watched that movie countless times on VHS. The VHS that I have is definitely warped. That's another one I just watched a million times over. And we all know Batman Returns. So you guys go ahead. That's my list.
Okay, fucking honorable mentions to Lethal Weapon 3,
Oh, okay.
Mine too.
Home Alone 2,
Nice.
which was not as good as the first one, but still killer.
Mm-hmm.
And Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. The only reason that that's not on this list is because Keanu Reeves. I can't in good faith put that movie on this list with Keanu Reeves wandering around. But, oh, Dracula, dude. Hey, bro, y'all seen Dracula? No. My number 5. My number 5 is it's I'm just gonna do a tie. So fuck it, I can do that. It's fucking
Well, wait a minute now.
extreme. I'm doing it, Mark. I don't give a shit. Just deal with it. It's
I
a tie
wanna-
between. No, you can't do it.
I wanted to
Get
do
back up
rapid
and do it.
fire. I can't do rapid fire.
You can't back up and do it now. It's too late.
Okay.
I'm gonna do School Ties and Innocent Blood as a number 5.
I got
So-
some on here too.
Innocent Blood is one of the most underrated horror films to come out around that time period. It's John Landis' film about a vampire that kills mafia guys, which is a great combination of things. And it's great because he does it really well with the humor and the gore, and
That cast, man.
the cast is amazing. Yeah.
Don Rickles.
Robert Loggia is great in that movie. Don Rickles is great too.
Mm-hmm.
And then School Ties is like a super serious film with Brendan Fraser that is probably one of the first films that really like put him on the radar. And I always love that movie too. I think Matt Damon in that too? I think he is.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's the lead heel in it, who ends up like kind of turning him in and that shit in the end. If I'm remembering that correctly. But I always really liked that movie and thought it was like super underrated. So my number 4 is Batman Returns. You mentioned that. It's the darkest of any of the Batman movies by far.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, like, when I first saw it, I hated it because of the Penguin character and stuff. I was like, God, this is just fucking gross. Like, and then you go back and watch it now and you're like, this is amazing. Like, Danny DeVito is just going like wild.
Talking about lube and
Yeah.
scented or unscented.
Yeah. And you just realize like all the stuff that they were doing, like, in that movie that got underneath the radar,
Mm-hmm.
and Michelle Pfeiffer, dude, there'll never be another like Catwoman like that. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
Number 3 is going to be Wayne's World. That's just like one of the comedies from that era that, I could quote pretty much everything in it. It was insanely popular at that time. Everybody knows about Wayne's World. Number 2 is Unforgiven. I think it's probably my favorite Western to come out of no, I take that back. It's my second favorite Western to come out of the 90s.
Tombstone, the other one.
You never know. But it's Clint Eastwood at his best as an actor to me. Gene Hackman is great in that movie. Morgan Freeman is great in that movie. It's got some of the best lines in it. And he goes, well, the part where he's like, you shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself, redecorated the saloon with my friend. Like, and all that shit. Yeah. And then there's the line too, killing a man's a hell of a thing. Take away, what is it? Take away. Oh, shit, I wish I could remember. Like something like
Everything he was and everything was
everything's going to be. Something like that, yeah. Yeah,
Good
Unforgiven.
movie.
It's crazy good. It also has, what's her name in it, Mark, that we were talking about the other day. In one of the last roles I can really remember her being in too. Or wait a minute, is that the same girl or is that just a girl that looks amazingly like that girl? Jenny plays one of the hookers.
From the block.
Not Jenny Wright.
It's not. Is that not Jenny Wright in there? Is that somebody just looks a lot like Jenny Wright?
I can't remember now. Hold on. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
somebody look up and see if Jenny Wright's one of the hookers in Unforgiven, or if that's somebody that just like happens to look like Jenny Wright.
Hmm.
She's the one that like comes and tells him that Ned is dead and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, if
Hmm.
somebody look. And then my number one is Reservoir Dogs. There's no doubt in my mind. Like that movie kind of revolutionized just everything. How you tell stories in movies, how you film movies and out of sequence in that way, and
Mhm.
you know, it starts at the one part, and then you go back and figure out like what happened in other parts, and it comes back to the present. And Michael Madsen's freaking amazing in it, as is Tim Roth, as is like everybody really in that movie. And to me, it was the height of like Tarantino writing like dialogue. A lot of the dialogue sequences weren't as long as he would later go on and do, where I just would get bored as shit with them. But they were really, really like cool, succinct dialogue pieces, especially the beginning of the film. So Reservoir Dogs, and that's my list.
Very cool. And a shout out to BA. Thank you for the super chat. He was talking about Unforgiven. I saw Unforgiven in the downtown Westwood, LA theater in stupid thing. Come on. There. Opening night. I was in the third row. I've never experienced anything as amazing as that. So thank you, Clint Eastwood, and the movie. So very cool. Look at my list here for 1992. 3 quickly for honorable mention. Lethal Weapon 3, I agree. Love that sequel. Stay Tuned, with a very unique comedy.
Yeah.
What if you were a couch potato? You're sucked into a TV where every station is like a hellish version, like Driving Over Miss Daisy and Dwayne's Underworld and all this other stuff. Very creative idea. And Waxwork 2, Lost in Time, which I love. I love the first one. I probably like that one even more.
Yeah.
So number 5, White Man Can't Jump. Love Wesley and Woody Harrelson together. I am a basketball fan. Haven't been able to watch in a while, but I do love the sport. Love the chemistry between the two. Love the dialogue. You tell Opie, tell Aunt B I want my pies ready. Off the trash talk, man, with each other. It's hilarious. Great chemistry of basketball hustling. Well directed by the same guy who did Bull Durham, I believe. So he definitely knows how to make those sports comedies work.
Mhm.
Number 4, Rapid Fire. Made a big action film. Brandon Lee having a solo ability to really show what he could do. Great work by the same guy who directed Halloween 4. And you got Powers Booth, wonderful actor, may rest in peace. Always wonderful to see him in the film. And yeah, just Brandon Lee be able to show what he could do martial arts wise. He could be a leading man, and he's able to prove it. And Sally, wasn't too long, he passed away, and we didn't get to see more of that.
Love Rapid Fire.
Number 3, one of the best action films out there, Hard Boiled. The John Woo film,
yeah.
Hard Boiled.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
I did too, because it's not American. I guess was it American made?
Hong Kong.
No.
Like Hogan in WCW?
Pasta Mania. My favorite Hong Kong action movie, Hard Boiled, is just an amazingly fantastic action film. I remember, long story short, I was on table. I got into the middle of the finale. I did not realize. Happy birthday, BA. Have a good one, man. I didn't know the scene was that long, the hospital scenes, because like the action scene kept going and going. Went, holy shit! Like usually action scenes are pretty short, but this is like another world I opened up to it and got me along with Hard Target into the world of John Woo, and that's just such a badass movie. Expertly directed.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why John Woo is my favorite action director. Just Hard Boiled. Fantastic. If you like action films at all, you need to see Hard Boiled. Number 2, personal favorite of mine.
Fucked up, Mark. I can see it in your face.
No, I was gonna say he likes John Woo, but he don't like Face Off. So
Oh yeah.
we're not gonna start that.
I'm not the only one.
No, listen, you've already got him on Point Break, and you don't want to get him started on Face Off.
I'm not the only one that dislikes Face Off. Let's be honest. But number 2, Split Second. personal favorite of mine.
Rutger
Uh,
Hauer.
l-
Yeah.
love Rutger Hauer, and may he rest in peace. I even liked his partner. Love how he was so hooked on chocolate and cigarettes, and love his partner did more hyped. We need the big fucking guns. I love the way London looks, where everything is almost underwater. I love
Yeah.
the creature design, very unique creature. His origin is a bit confusing, so there's some flaws, but I just love the way the film looks. Kirstie Alley having her Star Trek 6 haircut is always. Was it? No, not Kirstie Alley. What's her name? From Big Trouble in Little China. I can't
Oh,
believe I
Kim
forgot her name.
Cattrall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall. Yeah, Kim Cattrall. Much better than Kirstie Alley, sorry. But yeah, I like the cast. I love the leads, and again, there's a big pattern. Cop with sci-fi horror, big sucker for that. So
Same.
par for the course. And number one, Universal Soldier. Van Damme, Dolph, two action heroes I grew up with. To see them finally meet up,
Mhm.
I just want to eat. Just let me eat. Just beat the hell out of everybody.
I forgot about that line.
And I just, like I said, Mark said with the idea, the action sequences, the fight was like, people forget at the time, that felt like a big event. Like it was an actual MMA match or something.
Yeah.
And I agree, my favorite Roland Emmerich film. Dolph Lundgren is fantastic in that with a necklace of ears.
Yes.
Just just the way he spouts it, just how insane he goes. So love Universal Soldier, my number one favorite.
Mhm.
Some great picks, Bulls. Universal Soldier was universally loved. Let's see what we got in the chat. There are a ton of people that like 1992. I'll tell you that right now.
Very cool.
It's a great year.
We have. Good God. All right, so I'm just going to start right here.
Sure.
Rapid Fire, Wayne's World, Universal Soldier, Under Siege, Passenger 57. Was that 92? Was Passenger 57 92?
It was my number 5, but I think you cut out when I mentioned
Oh, okay. Well, fuck. All right.
His enter don't bet on black, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Candyman, Army of Darkness, White Man Can't Jump, Few Good Men, and Unlawful Entry. That's a great film that I just
Yeah.
watched recently.
All good picks.
Now, here's my question to you all about this, too, because I'm not sure. Some of these are saying that Dead Alive was 92, but I've got it as 93. So I think it is 92, though. Now that
That's
I think
so-
about it.
That's so yeah. If it plays like one theater in 92, it'll just say 92 everywhere. That's the tough thing about some of these lists.
Mhm.
Yeah. But he's
So-
got Indie Phantom's got it as number 5, Bitter Moon, Under Siege 2. I'm sorry, Under Siege, then Bad Lieutenant, and then Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me. And Malcolm X, Passenger 57, Universal Soldier, White Man Can't Jump, Rapid Fire, Honorable Mentions, Trespass, Batman Returns, South Central, Lethal Weapon 3, Hellraiser 3. Under Siege, Dead Alive, Reservoir Dogs, Batman Returns, Army of Darkness. Wheeze the Juice. Hunk says Army of Darkness split second, The Crying Game, 1492, Conquest of Paradise, and Stalin.
Wow.
I know all there is to know about the Crying Game. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
Shit. Universal Soldier, Home Alone 2, White Man Can't Jump, Aladdin. Aladdin was a great film, great animated film.
Yeah.
That's should be high up there. Batman Returns, Rapid Fire, Patriot Games, Reservoir Dogs is the honorable mentions. I forgot about The Player. The Player, Malcolm X, Few Good Men, White Man Can't Jump, My Cousin Vinny, love My Cousin Vinny, Unforgiven, Wayne's World. That's 10. You can't put 10 on there. Shit. Got time, read 10.
People doing that.
Candyman, White Man Can't Jump, Few Good Men, Unlawful Entry, Home Alone 2.
Good stuff.
My cousin Vinny's hilarious.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything I said was bullshit. It's like,
That's some good ones, Mayor.
did he say two Utes?
2 Utes. Encino Man, Army of Darkness, Universal Soldier, Wayne's World, Candyman. A lot of people like Candyman. They put it up really high. I mean, I always like Candyman, but it was never like that high up on my list.
I agree. I like Candyman, but not top 5 or top 10 for me.
Yeah.
I like it.
Batman Returns. It seems like a lot of the same. We're all on the same page, I think, with this year, though. Encino Man, Lethal Weapon 3, Universal Soldier, Under Siege, Unforgiven. All right, so let us go ahead and begin. This is the worst one for me, man, by far. Like, I don't even know how the fuck to do this. 1993, like, just go ahead, Mark. Try. I guess
I can't. I really can't. Oh my god.
You can do it.
I'll try. Honorable mentions. Cliffhanger. Really tough to not put that one on the list. I mean, what more can you ask for with John Lithgow and Stallone going at it? We've mentioned before that there is no uncut version. One day, hopefully, it comes out. But yeah, great movie.
Right.
Hughes Brothers movie, Menace to Society. I had to put that on there. Although lately I find myself liking Dead Presidents a lot more. I think that's a much more violent film. They both have somewhat depressing endings, but that one has a little bit more going on for me. But I still like Menace to Society, so that's an honorable mention there. And then Fire in the Sky. Obviously, I had to put at least one science fiction alien abduction movie on.
Of course.
Yeah. So amazing cast in that. Robert Patrick obviously would go on to do X-Files and many other great films and shows and stuff. But yeah, number 5. God, this was so hard because
this really sucks, man.
I mean, I got like in between, I got Sandlot and Tombstone, but number 5, True Romance. Just, I mean, it's not a bad thing that Tarantino didn't direct it because Tony Scott is, like I said before, always a serviceable director. Really great filmmaker. It's sad he's passed away now.
It's possibly Brad Pitt's best role.
Yeah, it is a really good role. I mean, almost anybody probably could have played it though, but he is fun in the role. Michael Rappaport. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think everybody knows True Romance, but yeah, Christian Slater, Rosanna Arquette. No, not Rosanna, Patricia Arquette.
Yeah,
and yeah, the two of them doing a coke deal that takes them from the streets, from fighting with James Gandolfini all the way to Gary Oldman and beyond, all the way to Hollywood trying to sell cocaine. But it's a great movie, fun sequences throughout, and just a fun time. And my number 4 is Dazed and Confused. Linklater's masterpiece, in my opinion. Yep. I've seen that film more times than I can even count. Love the characters. I love hanging out with them. Like that's basically what it is. It's a hangout movie / sort of a coming of age movie. But I mean, just the fact that you get to hang out with those characters for all that time for that one day. I mean, it's great. You got a young, God, what's her name? It's slipping my mind right now. Mila Jovovich.
Jesus,
in there.
Yeah.
Super young in there. But yeah, it's.
I saw you.
Yeah, I know. But she does not have a whole lot of dialogue in the movie. I think she says like 4 words, and that's all she needed to say.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank God.
And she's just somebody's girlfriend in the movie anyway. More of a background character.
And then they let her make 10 Resident Evil movies, so it all worked out for her.
Exactly. She became a star in the end. But yeah, just a fun hangout movie set in the 70s. It's a great flick. Number 3, Last Action Hero. One of my favorite Arnold movies. It's very, not tongue-in-cheek, meta. Meta is the right word.
Yeah, it is a little bit ahead of its time, really.
Yeah, very ahead of its time given the plot and all the cameos even. I mean, Robert Patrick showing up again as the Terminator was great. I believe you have a cameo from Sharon Stone. Van Damme even pops up at one point. Even fucking MC Hammer is in the movie. So you got a little bit of everybody popping up. And it's, I mean, if you were a kid watching that movie, that's exactly what you would want to see. You wish that you were the kid in the movie.
Yeah.
And it came at the right time when I was a young kid. So, yeah, I love it. Some really, really fun action.
You would have been a better actor than that kid. I love the film, but that kid is not the best.
Yeah. And Tom Noonan as your heel, although he's not the lead heel, but he should have been because I think he kind of steals the show. I love that character.
Sweet brother Numpsy.
Yep.
Number 2, Demolition Man. Had to put that in there. Again, more Wesley for me. He's fucking great in that. And I'm sure Matt already knew this story, but I told him once before where they were shooting the movie. They had to tell Wesley to slow down because his kicks and they couldn't pick up everything on the camera. That's how great he was as a martial artist. And then, you know, Rob Schneider, Sandra Bullock, and Stallone as your other lead as your hero. Set in the future, really fun movie. It's got all sorts of great little in jokes in there that either will or won't work for you, like the 3 seashells thing. But yeah, so that's my number 2, and then my number 1 is obviously, and this is probably Rambo's number 1 as well, Heart Target.
Yeah, you stole it.
I had to. John Woo is, Hard Boiled is great, but if you're going to go his best American movie, it's definitely Hard Target. We're all Van Damme fans here. This is definitely up there for me. It's in my top 3 Van Damme movies. Lance Henriksen, as I've said a million times on this show, and I will say again in the future, is pure badass. Arnold Vosloo as his henchman or right-hand man in crime is just amazing to watch. He's having a blast. I think everybody that puts forward any performance, even the smallest character, is so fun to watch. And it's basically, help me out, Rambo. What's that story that it's sort of based on? Like the
Most Dangerous Game.
Yes,
The Most Dangerous Game.
That's it. So you have a character who's basically being hunted for sport, and there's a big prize of money for whoever gets it, or you get your freedom. Basically, you get your freedom and then you get your money. But yeah, it's just a fun movie with Van Damme taking out everybody as always. So that's my number 1. Hard Target it's epic. So that's the list.
Love Hard Target. I think we all love Hard Target. Like, I don't know how you could not like that movie, really. Wilford Brimley riding on a horse shooting arrows at people. Fuck. Come on.
Blowing up houses.
Blowing up houses and stuff. With the Cajun accent. It comes and goes every now and then. That's great. All right. Man. Okay. All right. Fine. Honorable mention to like every film that's ever been good, ever made. Honorable mention to Schindler's List. Mrs. Doubtfire. The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. Like, the fuck, man.
Where's Meteor Man on that list? Come on.
Meteor Man's definitely high up on that list. You're right.
It's meteor shit.
Meteor shit.
That film sucks.
My number 5 is, and it should be higher. I don't know why I put it this low. Falling Down. It's like the older I get, the more I love that movie and more that I understand it. Like the more that, like it makes perfect sense to me the older I get.
Yep.
Michael Douglas just fed up with everybody's shit, going through with an Uzi and eventually a bazooka and just tearing everything all to hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's got one of the best things ever where he goes into the fast food restaurant and he wants breakfast and it's like 1 minute after. And then he's like, I want breakfast. Yeah, it's just it's a perfect movie that was like way ahead of its time for that time period too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That one was almost on my list. I'll double it up for number 5.
there you go. I did. So you number 4 is Hard Target. So I'd have it up as high, but it's got to be on the list somewhere because, like, I mean, it is. God, is it the best Van Damme movie in my opinion? It would either be that or Bloodsport. I don't know.
It's got to be in your top 3 Van Damme.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're
it's
a Van Damme fan.
I think I like it better than Kickboxer, so it's probably going to be like Bloodsport, then Hard Target as like the top Van Damme ones for me. But you've already talked. I mean, it's just a great action movie. It's got every great action scene in it that you can think of. Plus, Yancey Butler. Back when Yancey Butler was like insanely hot, and Lance Henriksen, Wilford Brimley, like I said, diabetes. Check your blood sugar and check it often, and also watch Hard Target. Number 3, I don't know if anybody's mentioned this movie, but I love this movie. I think it's one of De Niro's best roles, period. It also has a really young DiCaprio in it. This Boy's Life. I don't know if anybody remembers this movie, but like essentially DiCaprio is like, it's him and Ellen Barkin's his mom, and they move in with this guy played by De Niro, who's like, his stepdad, and they get married, and he just becomes like the biggest prick ever to DiCaprio. And every step along the way, like he's abusive to him and like his family. And it's just him trying to like deal with that guy. And De Niro gives one of his best performances to me in that movie, just being the biggest asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that DiCaprio tries to do, he wants to do better than him, and like tries to make him feel inferior about everything he does. And I love that movie. Especially the ending of that movie. My number 2 is, where the hell did I put my number 2? Oh, my number 2 is Tombstone. Like I said with Unforgiven, like this might be my favorite Western of the 90s. Probably is my favorite Western of the 90s for one reason, and it's the same reason that's everybody's reason, which is Val Kilmer. Man, something about that performance, like coming out of nowhere like that, the way that he did that role, and Kurt Russell's great in it too. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
As is Powers Booth, as is friggin' God, who am I trying to think? Michael Biehn.
Yeah,
but I mean, Val Kilmer's on another. He's like, he should have been nominated for an Oscar. He's that good in that movie, and 1,000 quotable lines that everybody quotes. So I will not quote them, but Tombstone's my number 2. And my number 1 is Dazed and Confused. I saw that movie, Mark, right like the week before I went to high school, before I started high school. And I was like, holy shit, like I'm going to have like fight all these seniors and shit. Like, cause like, that's the whole basis of the movie is like these freshmen going to high school and like, they're just tormented by these like seniors. Well, luckily that shit had ended by that time period. And that was not the high school experience, but like, it's the best hanging out kind of movie. Like just like, just kids hanging out with each other, like doing really nothing, but still like it seems so true to life about like what would happen during that time period, and the whole basis of the movie is just hanging out, smoking weed, and going to parties and listening to music, really. but the characters are so well done that it makes you like immersed in that world too. So that's my number one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about it. Like you feel like you're hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Which is what you want when you make a movie like that.
Let's get a couple super chats real quick, Rambo, before we go.
Sure.
Want to be a farmer? There's a couple acres.
It's a great line from last time.
That'll be somewhere talked about soon again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Matthew says,
I'll just-
"Oh, go
just
ahead,
maybe-
sorry, man.
Maybe he's talking about me. That's cool. More bads than strong female character. Well, yeah. As long as they're not you cheap sluts, go for it. Betty Tigers, whatever it is, Betty Dice, whatever. Just be more like Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah, that's cool, Matthew. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. To be honest, I'm too stupid. I don't remember what you said about it, so I'm just kind of floundering here, but I'll take your word for it. Hey, I watched Megalopolis, so my brain cells are gone after that piece of shit. Fuck Francis Ford.
I thought you said that was the feel good movie of 2024.
Yeah, if my hand was up my ass or my prostate, they would feel good. But 1993. So was Dead Alive in 92 or 93?
I don't know.
I think it was 92, but
I think it was 92 as well. Like that's what I
Shit.
always remembered it as, but they had it as 93. So fucking.
Well,
I don't
I'll
know.
put a 93 as honorable mention just to talk about Dead Alive. And all three of us could talk like a few seconds. Like Dead Alive is such unique, right? Just would you say that was his best film? The
You mean-
director?
Oh, 100%. I think it is. Like I don't even really like the fucking Lord of the Rings movies, but I think Dead Alive is a fucking masterpiece. So you
hot
shall not
take.
pass my fucking colon because Dead Alive is way better than any of those.
I agree. Fantastic film. And I hope it gets a new release one day. It deserves it. One of the goriest and more creative horror films out there. Just so many things about you can mention about how creative it is. And the third act alone, which is some of the more unique kills you'd ever see in a movie. You could go like, yeah.
Man, I remember the first time I watched that movie, I couldn't believe like what I was seeing. Like it looked real in a lot of those sequences towards the end anyway. Like they pull the guy's face off and everything, and then the woman, the baby comes through the woman's head, from the back and like pulls it apart. I just thought, like, my God, this is by far the goriest, bloodiest movie I've ever seen. It still might be like one of, if not the goriest.
Yeah,
Like-
everybody remembers like the lawnmower scene
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah. And all quick, like with Matthew, okay, that's a long time ago. Yeah, when we're talking about the tiger that could kill crocodiles, that was a long time ago. But yeah, I remember that. I said that guy's a badass motherfucker. I don't want to mess with him. Although he probably got killed by the hurricanes. There's a hurricane every 5 minutes. So
Wait,
they'll
I
kill
just,
him.
I just
Yeah.
want to bring this up real quick. Yes, I think that it will.
Jesus. Honorable mentions other than Dead Alive. I'll put that 92 then. Last Hatchet Hero, honorable mention. Reasons Mark said. Never thought it was as bad people made out to be. I thought it was very fun. I thought it was very inventive. I thought it was pretty funny. There's always a bad guy. There's always a bad guy in the closet, and like
There's
all the
always
other
a guy in there.
Yeah.
stuff. Yes, I'm like the famous Arnold Braunschweiger. Schwarzenegger, Gesundheit. It is, yeah. It's. I never understood why it was hated as much as it was. Just I remember watching it as a kid. I thought it was pretty good, but
Well,
that's
the biggest
just me.
problem Last Action Hero had is it came after Terminator 2. Like it was the first film he did after Terminator 2, so it didn't matter what it was not going to pop
Okay,
that.
yeah. And then The Fugitive would be the other honorable mention. Fantastic. Probably, maybe the best movie based on a TV show. If not, then very close. Great Harrison Ford performance. Tom Lee Jones is fantastic. The way he portrayed it. Won an Oscar for it, which I agree with. Number 5, Jason Goes to Hell. That's a personal favorite of mine. It's nostalgic. That was the first one I saw. It's what got me into the franchise. Jean D. LeMay, Mark, our guy.
Oh yeah.
We got him up the tier list, baby. That's what we were there for. Our job was done. But yeah, I love it's like a good version of a sequel to The Hidden. because they did a sequel to The Hidden. It was garbage. This I rather liked, and because it was the first one I saw, I didn't know about the rules it was breaking, so I wasn't in that mindset. But one of the glorious of the franchise, which also has its nudity. I like the characters like Stephen Williams, and I do like John D. LeMay. I do like that it didn't feel like a typical. Like Friday 13 films have a formula. I was fine with it going outside the box. Yes, there's stupid shit. I don't know why he needs to shave. You don't need to shave. Take that out. I'm sorry, guy. I defend the movie, but I ain't defend that.
That guy was naked too.
Hey, I don't need to know about Jason's sex life now or ever. But I still like the film quite a bit. So it's my number 5. Number 4, one of my favorite parody films, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. I love it. I mean, talk about a movie that has so many people in it: Emilio, Sam Jackson, Tim Curry, William Shatner, Corey Feldman, James Doohan, Scotty. The guy who's the police chief in Last Action Hero, and he's the chief in this. Just so many people. John Lovitz, and whether it be Tim Curry with the Wilderness Girls, to the whole opening there, to the give me a name. Is that what your parents supposed to do? So it's all the just a very fun parody of Lethal Weapon and those type of movies, and still a lot of fun to this day. Idea, especially if you're a big Lethal Weapon fan. There's a lot of good jokes there. Emilio doing his Bill Gibson, walked in his butt against the moonlight shot, all the other stuff.
I remember that shot. Yeah.
Very funny movie. Number 3, Demolition Man, for the reasons mentioned. Very ahead of its time for what it said about the PC culture and just how if you be too nice, you could go the wrong way in the opposite direction. So very much ahead of its time. Stallone and Wesley, fantastic together. Good cast. I'm a big Sandra Bullock fan. Rob Schneider's not that annoying in it, thankfully. He's only in it for a little bit. Great action set pieces, as well as great humor and satire. It kind of has the whole stuff put together. And I know there's a 4K coming out, which is cool. I wish the deleted scenes were on there, but it is what it is. But love Demolition Man. To me, one of my favorite 90s action films. Number 2, Cliffhanger. I adore the film. Such an exhilarating rush for me ever since I first saw it. I love the way Reddy Harlan, they shot in the mountains. So much of it's done in camera, from the insane one person going from one plate to the other, to all the crazy stunt work, Stallone's character under the ice, him and the guy sliding down the mountain and making the guy's face to a crystal. Just the way Reddy Harlan could pull out the gore, whether it be like John Lithgow Coley shooting that woman in through the back, so he could be the only pilot. Lithgow is great. He's a wonderful actor. Great to see him as the villain.
I forgot about Michael Rooker too.
Yeah, Michael Rooker.
Oh,
great
yeah.
to see him in there as a good guy, because I was like so freaked out with him with Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. That was great to see him as a good guy. I agree with that, Matthew. Fuck Furiosa. I think that movie fucking sucks. I wish the Tiger was the star of the movie. It would have been a better film, at least to me. But I love Cliffhanger. Absolute class. I could watch that anytime. And the trailer, I think, is like the best trailer ever made. It just sells the film well. No dialogue. Fantastic score. I could go on and on about it. I love Cliffhanger. And number 1, Hard Target, for the reasons everyone said. I'm a huge Van Damme fan. I watched the film multiple times. It got to the point I got the work print. I would make my own fan cuts for my own enjoyment. And that's a cut I watch all the time now, is my fan cut. The action, the bayou setting, Wilford Brimley's great. Lance Henriksen, wonderful as the villain. And the third act and the Mardi Gras graveyard, one of my personal favorite action set pieces and finales in a film. Just so many, from kicking a gas can and blowing someone away on a motorcycle, to dodging arrows and slow-mo and jumping through windows, exploding behind them. Stuff you will not see nowadays, because in the day and age of CGI, they would never do this kind of thing anymore. Which is true, but it's sad as well. And that's the thing when we're going through this. We're watching films that the 80s are great, but the 90s were fantastic as well. And the way these films are made, they won't be made again. It's just how it is. So it's nice to go back and think and talk about these, because
When's the last time you've seen somebody get set on fire like they did with Lance Henriksen in the movie?
I'm sure there has been, but nothing comes to mind right now.
Practically, I can't remember anything. Not in a long time.
It just just not as often as it used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hard Tar is my personal uh, number one of '93.
When he comes down from the like Mardi Gras float with a shotgun, that's fucking killer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's see. So we got in the chat. I'm just gonna go up this time. Shortcuts, Groundhog Day, Adam's Family Values, The Remains of the Day, and The Dark Half. It's a hell of an interesting list. Let's see, and we got Michael Bean has a new podcast. It says
Yep.
it's pretty good. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Groundhog Day, The Fugitive, Jurassic Park, Red Rock West, Fear of the Black Hat, and Mad Dog and Glory, True Romance, Adam's Family Values, and honorable mention. Yeah, Jurassic Park, man. I like Jurassic Park, but I just never like loved that movie enough to put it on a list like that.
Yeah, like I like it a lot, but I don't really ever watch it anymore.
No, I don't either.
I've seen it a million times.
Honorable mentions: Dennis the Menace, The Sandlot, Body Bags, and then he's got number 5. So I Married an Axe Murder. I didn't know that came out in '93. That's a killer movie. Leprechaun, Last Action Hero, Adam's Family Values, and Hard Target is number 1. The Fugitive, Hard Target, In the Line of Fire, Body Bags, hell yeah, and Falling Down. I almost put this one on my list too. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? It's a great movie, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's an insanely good movie. And
Yep.
that did he win an Oscar for that, DiCaprio? If not,
Nominated.
he should have.
He
Yeah.
was just nominated.
Fire in the Sky, another great movie. Dazed and Confused, Tale, another great movie, and True Romance. Benny and June, The Dark Half, and Trauma is the honorable mentions. Let's see: Jurassic Park, Demolition Man, Stoutfire, Hard Target, Last Action Hero, Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story, Fugitive, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Love
Yeah,
me some Mel Brooks.
That's a good one. Men in Tights. It's
Yeah.
always funny.
Hard Target, Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, Tombstone, True Romance, Honorables, Men's Society, Judgment Night. Yep.
Judgment.
Army of One, Falling Down, Poetic Justice.
I thought about Poetic Justice. I should have put that on there, but
You want to put Janet Jackson on the list, Mark? What the hell? Tupac, The Fugitive, The Firm, Cliffhanger, Judgment Night, Hard Target, In the Line of Fire. That's a great movie too.
Yeah.
I forgot that one. Did that come out that year? I didn't have
Yeah,
it
it
on my
did.
list. Okay.
93.
So I Married an Axe Murderer, Tombstone, and Jurassic Park.
California as well. That's another good one.
California. Nowhere to Run, Thing Called Love, Demolition Man, The Fugitive, and Hard Target. Which one is Nowhere to Run?
That's the one when he's on the prison bus. He escapes and goes to Rosanna Arquette and the little kid who's one of the culprits.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Indie Phantom, The Crush, Shortcuts as honorable mention. Hard Target, The Fugitive, True Romance, Carlito's Way, and Dazed and Confused. I love Carlito's Way. Demolition Man, Jurassic Park, Sleepless in Seattle, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, True Man. I think we got this is my favorite list of anybody's though. Cop and a Half, Robot in the Family, Jason Goes to Hell, Ernest Rides Again, and Son-in-Law. I know
Good
that's
stuff.
a troll, but that's fucking killer.
No, I mean I like Son-in-Law. I mean nothing wrong with Ernest. Jason
There ain't
Goes
no
to
way,
Hell.
Mark. That's a real list.
I don't know about Cop and a Half though.
There ain't no fucking
I don't know if I
way.
put that at the.
I agree with
one.
3, 4, and 5. I don't know about Cop and a Half.
Yeah.
They teach their own.
All right, so I think we're caught up. If not, I mean, there's a lot of.
And one quick, In the Line of Fire, I agree with you. That is one of my
Yeah.
favorite lines. You have a rendezvous with my ass, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Like Clint Eastwood. Oh,
my
yeah.
boyfriend's back.
Disney, I believe.
All right, 1994.
Mm-hmm.
The saga continues.
Okay. Oh man, this one was tough too. And the ones that I'm mentioning for honorable mention, I just think that they don't get talked about enough or enough light shined on them, and I think they're great. But I might double up for number 5. Just saying.
Do it. Do it to it.
Honorable mention, the first one, Low Down Dirty Shame, directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans. Thought that was a fun action movie, but nobody talks about it.
Never had a Blu-ray.
Which is crazy. I think it's really cool movie. It, most people talk about, scary movie and that stuff, and that's what they usually associate.
Because it bombed, and it's one of those few that has, I think, a 0% Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it really?
Damn.
Holy shit.
Which is I thought it was a good movie, but it has a 0%.
That's crazy. Oh, I love it. Ton of really cool action scenes. Very underrated. Definitely worth a watch. This is Rifkin movie.
Sorry.
This is
sorry, 4%. I was wrong. 4%.
Yeah, get it right, buddy.
They were 4%.
4%. Come on. But yeah, The Chase. I always thought that was a really fun
Love
movie.
that movie. Does that movie have a Blu-ray? I thought maybe it didn't.
I don't have one. I hope it does. I'd like to get it at some point. But it seems like one of those movies that probably wouldn't have one, Let us know, Rambo.
No, I don't think it does.
It's crazy.
It seemed like I'd heard that, and I was like, "There ain't no fucking way." That movie was on HBO constantly back in the day.
Yeah, that's where I caught it.
Yep.
Christy Swanson, man. Whew.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I gotta mention this one. I'm not sure how many people have ever seen this one, The Stoned Age.
Have
You guys
not
ever
seen that one.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Matt,
yeah.
did you like it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I figured.
Yeah.
I figured.
You can tell by how he answers it. You just need to go a little bit deeper.
All right, but yeah, we are coming up on 2.5 hours, so I'm going to keep going. So number 5 is Speed, but I had a hard time not putting in Time Cop in there. Just, again, Van Damme. And
Of course.
We can't put
Anyway.
every Van Damme movie in the top 5, y'all. I feel like that's what we're doing.
yeah, but Speed is a classic. One of those rare movies where it starts out with, just a crazy idea, keeps the tension all the way through with the whole thing with the bus. And even before that, when you go to the hostage situation that they have
Yeah.
in the building, Dennis Hopper is great in it. Perfect villain. Keanu was, I'd say that's probably right when he started to shine, as like people could see him like as the next big action star. Because I'm pretty sure he did fairly well at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
I think-
Speed?
Yeah.
It is huge.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
hundreds
Surprise.
of millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. Sequel, not so much, but that's a whole nother
No,
story.
it's on a fucking boat with. Who was that?
Jason
Jason
Patrick.
Patrick.
Jason,
Yeah.
It's got Jason Patrick though, buddy.
Yeah.
Speed 2, cruise control. What?
And yeah, Sandra Bullock, she was another one.
It made her whole career. That movie made her
Yeah.
whole career in one movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And tons of great lines throughout. Joe Morton, everybody's fucking fired.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's what more can I say? Everybody knows Speed. Go on to the next one. It's just number 4. That's True Lies. Another one that everybody knows a ton about. Arnold. If this was like the follow up to T2,
Yeah.
like maybe he could have squeezed in Slashing Hero right after that. Maybe it would have done just as well. I don't know. But either way, I always found it really fun. Comes off very much like a spy parody movie, but still manages to be serious. Jamie Lee in there.
The best part of that movie to me has always been Tom Arnold.
Yeah,
To be honest, like
I mean, I think his chemistry with Arnold is off the charts. Like all the jokes that he has, it's hard to
Yep.
believe that. And this was probably all improvised by him, but it's hard to believe Cameron would have wrote any of that kind of dialogue. I mean, even some of the stuff that Bill Paxton has to say, like
That's yeah.
that doesn't seem like something Cameron would write. It seems
But
all
he's
very improvised.
his timing is Arnold's timing, and he's so quick with
Mhm.
like the jokes and stuff and that it's just seamless. It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it works very well. That's one that I'm pretty sure as a kid I watched countless times. Love the action scenes towards the middle and the end. And the ending actually is just almost like one long 25-minute action scene. Starts off the coast where they've got they've got them hostage, and it starts from there and it just keeps going. Like the whole last 25 to 30 minutes, it's like all action. Just keeps going. Then
I was just thinking that they use the same ending in Team America.
Oh.
True lies. They shoot the guy on the fucking rocket with a missile.
Yeah, and that's a great dispatch of your bad guy, and Arnold delivering the line, "You're fired."
Yeah.
So number 3 might be controversial, but this is one of the earliest movies that I saw in the theater as a horror movie or slasher movie per se. Love it to death still to this day. I think it's Andrew Kevin Walker's first script, I believe. It's a Brain Scan.
I'm glad you said that.
So Edward Furlong, I mean, it takes everything that I love. I mean, I'm a big tech person. Obviously, I love horror and video games alike. So you put those two together and then give me one of my favorite subgenres of horror, which is slashers. And it plays out perfectly. It's got a cool twist. His room was what I wanted as a kid, and I pretty much did end up having. So I even have that water thing that he has, that pillar with all the bubbles. I have that too. So
Gotcha.
like there's a ton of stuff in the movie that he has that I have now currently. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. I could watch it countless times. I have a ton of stuff for that. I got the press kit. I've got posters and the VHS, all kinds of shit for that movie.
So you're a bit Stay Alive guy as well. Say like horror video games. Stay Alive. There you go.
No,
The sequel to Brain Scan.
that was not a good movie. Not a big Frankie
You know,
Muniz guy.
I tell you what's funny about Brain Scan though is how good Edward Furlong is in that movie. Like people forget that, but like he does an amazing job in that. Like I watch him in something like Pet Cemetery 2, and I'm like, he kind of sucks in this fucking movie. But I watch Brain Scan, and I'm like, this is kind of. He was still on like the Terminator 2 level at that point, you know, like when he was doing that movie for some reason.
Yeah. We mentioned John Flynn before, directed by him. Also did Lock Up and other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he sort of was a big factor in that. Like he got that performance out of him for sure. Like there was no way he's going to settle for anything that wasn't up to par, especially him starring in the movie and, you know, trying to hold the whole film together. But yeah, great horror video game movie. Number 2, The Crow. That's easily one of my favorite comic book, or if you want to call it graphic novel movies. Brandon Lee's epic. I almost put Rapid Fire as well as Showdown in Little Tokyo on my other lists. But yeah, this one for me, the soundtrack I love, much like a ton of 90s soundtracks. Just damn near every song was amazing. You got 9 Inch Nails and the Rollins Band, and just it's epic. And from music to production design to casting, action scenes, the violence, the characters. As I said before, I'm a big fan of gangs, criminal gangs in movies. Love that. And that gang was great. Michael Wincott as the lead was really perfect. I mean, you couldn't get much better. Michael Wincott at that time was hitting on all cylinders. And it's funny, like even in the comic, like it's not that way. Top Dollar is not the lead bad guy, but they switched it around. But it was perfect because I would much rather have him as the lead. What's up, Rambo? You laughing at something?
No, no. When he said hitting all the cylinders, my mind went to he's also hitting all the women. Basically,
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
conventions.
that.
So I didn't want to say they'd ruin it.
No, you're fine. But yeah, Crow is epic. I think everybody knows that. And then number one is probably very obvious. Could have been Shawshank, but it wasn't. I got to go with Pulp Fiction. It's easily Tarantino's best, I would say. I mean, I love Reservoir Dogs, but there's a lot of other stuff that comes really close. But this one just hits all the right marks for me. It's also got the same thing you were talking about earlier, Uncle Bill, the nonlinear narrative, which is very interesting. And, you know, I don't think anybody could pull that off. Like, just writing in that style. I mean, I think if you try, people that try to write like Tarantino, like it comes off as obvious that you're trying to write like him.
Yeah.
So it's something only he can do.
At the end of the day, that movie has one thing Reservoir Dogs doesn't have, though, which is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
exactly.
that performance alone, yeah.
Oh yeah,
and his line delivery is just it's great. I think he says it all the time. Nobody delivers his dialogue like Sam Jackson. So
yeah.
No, I don't need to say too much about Pulp Fiction. Everybody knows that. So that's my 1994. It's a ton of others I want to put it on there,
Shit, yeah.
but fuck, can't do all of them.
There were 3 movies in 94 that kind of all changed movies. Like, that's what's funny about 1994. Like, there were 3 huge movies that, like, they all in different ways changed, like, the whole, route that movies would take after that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So, okay, I'll do some honorable mentions of stuff that hasn't been mentioned yet. Surviving the Game. I love that movie.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Forgot
It's
to
in
put
there.
that on there.
It's another one of those movies. It's kind of like Hard Target as well.
Yeah. So.
Let's see. Nail, Chickapee, swaying in the wind. Nobody's seen Nail. You need to see Nail right now with Jodie Foster. And Leon the Professional. I don't know if you mentioned that one or not. Mark, did you mention The Professional? Okay.
No.
Oh yeah.
I love that movie. So those are my honorable mentions. My number 5 is Brain Scan.
Okay.
Like, I just think that, I think me and Rambo were talking about this at one point, or somebody, maybe it was Garrett or somebody, like, I just want to do a whole show on that movie, just about the fact of how underrated it is and how kind of ahead of its time it was. And it really got shit on at that time that it came out, but like, it is like a super good movie with some great like performances, some great virtual reality kind of stuff for that time period, like a really cool plot and the ending and everything. I always enjoyed that movie a lot. So I'm going to say Brain Scan's my number 5. My number 4 is Ed Wood. I think that's possibly like one of my favorite Burton movies, if not my favorite Burton movie. I couldn't tell you. Maybe Beetlejuice is ahead of that, but I don't know.
It's
like
definitely up there for me. I love Ed Wood.
Ed Wood is just insanely good acting from Johnny Depp, Martin Landau. Like, just they're playing off each other, and I don't know. Everything about that movie works for me. As a matter of fact, I want to watch that tonight. I don't think about it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but like, it's one of my favorite movies from that time period. This is where it gets really friggin' hard, because these 3 movies that I'm getting ready to say all changed everything. And I know that Matt's going to totally agree with me on this one, but my number 3 is Clerks. I mean, from what he's become now, people forget that when that movie came out, that changed everything. Like, I mean, it changed the way dialogue was done. It changed the way movies were made. People felt like they could actually make movies like that. Linklater was a big influence on that too, by the way, on his approach and everything. But like, I always loved that movie. I thought like the characters were great. They were fresh at that time. Like, the writing was so good. Unfortunately, it just got like, Xeroxed 100 times and has become what it is now. But yeah, when it first came out, that movie was insanely good. Still is good. My number 2 would be Shawshank. For obvious fucking reasons. I don't know if I need to talk about Shawshank really. Like everybody knows about that movie. And my number 1's Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
For exactly what you said, like it had the performances, it had the storytelling, it had the dialogue for sure, it had the direction, had the music, it had everything in it. And every story was like engrossing too. Like every sub character plot that was going on in it, like was great. Every step of the way, the Bruce Willis stuff, the Sam Jackson Travolta stuff, just every side character like that had a story was insanely good.
Absolutely.
So that's it for me.
Well, before I go on to give a shout out to Matthew, does the super chats?
Oh yeah,
Sorry. No, it's fine. I think it's like he said like 3 during it. Can we all agree that Crocodile? Like you said, yeah.
hold on, I could go to the stars one. Let's see. Can we all just agree that the crocodile killing tiger is more badass than most supposedly strong female characters in movies these days? Yes.
Fuck yeah, especially if it's Brie Larson.
Fuck Brie Larson.
Yeah.
I guess you can say who the crocodile killer has got the lethal eye of the tiger.
Yeah, they need to make a movie and Mr. T voices it.
Simba may be the Lion King, but likely is the Tiger Queen for sure. There you go, Bulls.
Yeah, she's a badass bitch. I'm down for that. Make a movie of that. Be better than Joker 2. But my list, long story short, honorable mentions, Pulp Fiction for the reason you guys said. True Lies, the last time James Cameron was worth a shit. Also, Body Snatchers, maybe my favorite Abel Ferrara film. My favorite version of Body Snatchers. I loved how dark and kind of has certain atmosphere to it that I really enjoyed with the way he made that.
Very
I love the
underrated.
performance that girl has. I forget her name. We don't go. We don't run. We don't hide. Nowhere. There's no one like you left. Like she did a better job than I did, but I just always stuck out to me in a good way. I always loved it. Also, Gunman with Christopher Lambert, Mario Van Peebles, fun action movie. I'll put that on the honorable mention. Number 5, Shawshank Redemption. One of the most amazing movies out there. So well made, so well acted. Really pulls your heartstrings in the right way without being over dramatic. Fantastically made movie, The Shawshank Redemption. Crazy how that film bombed when it came out, but it definitely is considered to be one of the best films out there, and it's richly deserved. It's a fantastic movie, The Shawshank Redemption. Number 4, Time Cop. I'm a big Van Damme fan. That was the biggest hit he ever had. I think that was the film that was the most potential for him to have a franchise, but because of his drug problems, it just never came to be. Because that could have been his Rambo, his Terminator, where it would have been Time Cop 2, 3, 4, just all sorts of things you could do with it. But yeah, love Ron Silver's the villain. Love the action sequences. Love, from Ferris Bueller, who played his wife.
Oh, yeah. She's great. I can't think of her name. Yeah.
Yeah, Mia Sarah. Yeah, great cast, great action. One of the last highlights of Van Damme before it kind of trickled down a bit. Number 3, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Love that film. That's what brought Jim Carrey to the stratosphere. I like a lot of Jim Carrey films, but that's the one that I could watch over and over again and still laugh my ass off.
When you talk about that, like a million lines start coming in my head, like immediately, like the one-liners from that movie.
What
Your number still 911? All righty then.
Even the crying game bit, I still love
Yeah.
just the way he reacts and just the way they use the music. And
They found Mr. Winky.
I love Ace Ventura.
That shit would never get over today, man.
No.
Oh,
It'd be
God.
Jackson Quick. Number 2, Clerks. for the reasons you said, fantastic dialogue. That he really got into what people would, at least how these interesting people would really sound like, really talk about, like how conversation would really be, and used his limitations to the fullest effect. The
Yeah.
black and white worked for that film. He was so good at writing, and there's a whole. I mean, we did a Kevin Smith show. How he fell off, I will still not quite understand 100%, but
Yeah, he was a different person back then too. I mean, that's another thing to keep in mind. Like
yeah, it's true.
He's just completely different now.
Yeah, but Clerks is just fantastic. Just one of the funniest, one of my favorite comedies. One of the funniest movies. Just really shows how spot on dialogue can really work for characters, especially the character Randall. And number one, Speed. Speed to me is what I want in as deep as a match movie. Great beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Each one has the elevator, the bus, the subway. Each one done very well by first-time director Jan de Bont. Pull all the cylinders. Great idea for the central premise. Dennis Hopper did a fantastic job. And what Keanu Reeves really made him more of a star. He worked well for that role, and just such a fun, exhilarating movie. Great action sequences. Very well done movie. So, yeah, Speed would be my number one for 94.
Yep. Love Speed too. Not Speed 2.
Yeah, I know.
Love Speed as well.
Okay.
Speed 2.
Nah.
Does anybody really love Speed 2, by the way? If so, like,
Cisco and
comment.
Ebert, they gave it 2 thumbs up.
No, they didn't. Shit.
Yes, they did. I swear to God, they gave
that
it. But Die Hard did not get 2 thumbs up, but Speed 2 got 2 thumbs up.
That tells you everything you need to know about those two guys, really. In their opinion.
Didn't they give 0 star Roger Ebert? At least he gave 0 stars to The Hitcher.
Yep.
Fuck him.
This film here, yep.
Love that addition.
You go watch that and tell me that's 0 stars. Kiss my ass. All right. Neopunk says The Crow, Shawshank, Pulp Fiction, Speed, Interview with the Vampire, and Leon the Professional. He put a tie in there.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb and Dumber. I actually thought about Dumb and Dumber too. North, Time Cop, Interview with the Vampire, Little Women.
All the comedies just made me think of one, and I'm going to change my honorable mention. Forget Stone Age, Airheads.
Airheads is awesome. Yeah.
Love Airheads. I just thought about that. So that's my pick.
The Cowboy Way, New Nightmare, Page Master, Little Giants. I love Little Giants. I forgot about that movie completely. Serial Mom. How many damn movies you got on there, Jackson? Jack? Shit.
Like 15.
Fucking snuck about 10, 15 movies in there on us. Serial Mom and The Mouth of Madness and Clerks. Night of the Demons 2. Street Fighter. Okay. Dumb and Dumber, Brain Scan 2, and Airheads. All right.
Airheads. There's Airheads. Okay.
Now, this is the troll list. Ain't no fucking way. It's bad.
Oh, man.
My Father, the Hero, The Gambler 5, Playing for Keeps, Radioland Murders, and The Flintstones. Shit. It's killer. Also, Jackson Jack says Witchcraft 14 came out in 94.
Jeez.
So that's got to be on there. Got to be an honorable mention on there. For sure. Dark Half Color Night, Last Seduction, Clerks, New Nightmare, Natural Born Killers, Pulp Fiction, Dumb and Dumber, Speed, Leon the Professional, True Lies, and Time Cop. Yeah, a lot of the same movies. Speed, The Crow, The Chase, Surviving the Game, Pulp Fiction. Dumb and Dumber, The Lion King, The Crow. See, there's a lot of conflict about when these movies came out. The Lion King, The Crow, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, True Lies, The Mask, Shawshank, and Speedy's honorable mentions.
Good stuff.
What do you mean about when these came out?
Well, like they show up in different times. Like some people put them in 93, some people put them in, you know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
Pulp Fiction, The Paper, Shawshank, Nobody's Fool, Speed. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's some that are just classic, like Pulp Fiction, Ed Wood. Hudsucker Proxy's great.
There's Wolf. I was waiting on that one.
Fucking A, Wolf with Jack Nicholson running around.
James Spader.
Yep, James Spader's the competing wolf.
I saw that in the
Michelle
theaters.
Pfeiffer, I think.
Yeah.
Like In the Month of Madness, I thought it was 95, so I get what you mean. I thought
Yeah,
I
I
put that
think
by
that's
94.
94.
That's
I think it is
94 because I have it
Yeah.
on the list here, but
Oh.
couldn't put it on there.
Mouth Madness is great though.
Oh yeah,
Regardless.
love that one.
Speed, True Lies, Pulp Fiction, Clerk, Shawshank. Yeah.
Hmm.
Cemetery Man.
Hmm.
Yeah. Shawshank, The Crows, Pulp Fiction, Leon Newman.
Very cool.
Nobody
all
picked.
right.
Nobody picked Fresh. What's going on?
Shit.
You didn't.
I would have if I could put 10 on the list.
So that is the 90s, the early 90s anyway, 90 to 94. So, of course, next week, next Friday on Friday Night Lives, we will end this series with 95 to 99 because I ain't going into the fucking 2000s. Ain't going to happen.
We gotta go. It'll come back by
I
popular demand.
will not come back by man to go into the 2000s, Mark. I promise. So, yeah, that'll be awesome. I'm trying to think here because we've got a bunch of shit coming up, and I know Sunday I've got the Bravo Scariest Movie Moments with Garrett coming up at 10, so you can check that out. That'll be the next show. Saturday, CK is going to be on Eurocrypt, and he's going to be doing 3 different films with Dirk. I can't remember what the 3 films are, but you can check that out. I think it's at 7 or 8. Just go on our YouTube page and find that. And then we've got the resurrection of Miko coming up. A lot of people that remember from the original show, Miko Macabre, we have secured an interview with her to figure out what in the hell happened and what she's got planned for the future, which is going to be awesome.
Well, for those who don't know, who is
Yeah.
Miko Macabre? Just some people may not know.
She was, in my opinion, one of the first and the best like YouTube horror hosts from the early 2000s, like right around the conception of YouTube, really. Like she was one of the first people there that was making videos that were kind of like everything you see now, where people, they would take scenes from the movies and they would like, comment over top of them and make, try to make them funny and things like that, have little skits and things about them. She was doing that shit in like 2005, 2006. Okay. So it was like, if she would have kept doing it, she would have been huge. She would have been probably one of the most popular horror YouTubers that they're right now. But she bowed out after only a couple of shows. I think 3 or 4 shows. Like each show would be like a movie. Like Night of the Demons was one. I think Army of Darkness was one. There's another one too. But like after a couple of those, she just stopped doing it and just completely disappeared. So we're gonna find out what happened and what she's got planned. Yeah.
Back in the day, did she find you or you found her? Back in the day.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't remember which one was which. I think we probably found her. There were so few people doing that shit online at that time that like you knew pretty much all of them. And hers was one of the ones that got like a lot of views too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I can't wait to actually talk to her about that stuff. And then there's something else big coming, but I can't announce it yet. So just know that we got a big announcement coming up the next week or so.
That's right. You guys did mention that the other
Yep.
night.
Yep. And then I've got a video dropping tomorrow, which is about the best modern horror villains. And that's just like a standalone video.
Cool. Very cool.
So there you go. What do you got going, Mark?
Actually, I will be doing a video on some of my.
What?
Shit, what happened to him?
Did he press the wrong
some of my, and he's gone.
He's like, fuck it.
That's like some shit I would do. I feel bad for him.
Got to keep it with suspense.
I think he did hit the wrong button. Like he was trying to click on something else. He just fucking cut himself out. So killer. An Eli Roth interview Justin Smith. I fucking wish, but the truth of the matter is, Eli Roth don't want to talk to us. He just doesn't. Uh, all right, well, Matt, what do you got?
Well,
Mark's fucking gone.
well,
Oh shit!
after I should just boop leave just as middle of saying.
Just start saying something. Just fucking click yourself off.
On my channel, just fulfilling more requests. I think one of the next ones is the acclaimed movie Vegas Hookers. That'll be the movie review.
Yeah, that's
other reviews, action films like Flood with Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin. More reactions, including there was a anime of a xenomorph alien film, which was pretty cool. 50 minutes long that someone made. Megalopolis, I did watch that. I did review it. I was very pissed. It's one of the worst films I've seen this year.
kind of figured, yeah.
For a lot of reasons. Commentary on Trick or Treat, as well as a review of the album. That was another request. Trick or Treat's still a good movie, still holds up. Would have been nice to see that another way, but that's just how it is. Oh yeah, another terrible film. This is October. White Noise. Remember that Michael Keaton
With
film?
Michael Keaton, yeah.
Jesus
Sadly, I do
Christ.
remember that.
I saw it in the theater and I was so pissed. It's one of those movies, like, it has like such a dour ending, and then for some reason it has like chipper define gravity. You're somewhere out there, somewhere out there. I'm like, that doesn't fit. But that's a horrible film. That was a big
I got
hit.
a question too, real quick. Not about White Noise, but about another film that's like
Sure.
similar to that came out around that time period. So, are you going to get the Vinegar Syndrome Fear.com that they released?
I saw that was released and I went, no, I'm not getting fear.com.
Dude, I'm just curious because like I haven't seen that in so long that I was like, I need to see this movie again, just see if it's as bad as I remember it being. Like, it probably will be. But
like, I remember, like, I saw your video and went, what? That movie?
yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, because it's like a partner label that got it too.
Who the fuck likes that movie? Maybe if you liked it, teach their own, but it ain't me. And thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. Yeah, Mark is like,
yeah, Mark said, fuck it. Oh, wait.
Maybe you knew when I'm talking about fear.com.
He's back.
What do you think about fear.com, Mark?
Yeah.
I remember it not being very good. That's what I remember.
What happened?
I clicked on something by mistake.
He clicked
closed
himself
the whole
out of it.
thing
We know
down.
it.
That was an accident.
So what's coming up for you, Mark?
So I'm going to be showing some of my most recent pickups in a video. I'll probably chop it up into different videos and do it like how I always do the other collection videos that I put up. That and I still got to put up that review. I'll be sending that over to CK, so it'll pop up on the Dead Pit channel, the one for the movie, Sean Whalen's new movie, Crust. So,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and that's about it for right now.
And how many people in the chat, just one last thing, got this? Because, I mean, you mentioned, because I didn't check it yet, but you mentioned it's the release of the year.
For me, it is 100%. I don't know if you watched it yet, Mark, but like
I did. I loved it. It's looks great. It was worth the wait. I mean, it was everything I thought it was going to be. So
yeah,
I love it.
Very cool.
But next Friday, the end of the 90s, I'll be curious because I can't remember as much about the end of the 90s as I can about the early 90s. So in terms of what films came out. So I'll be curious to see if it's as stacked because I feel like things start to go downhill like at some point. So we'll see. But also check us out at deadpit.com, over at Into the Dead Pit on Instagram. check out these two guys' channels and make sure that you sub and hit like and finger bang you like button to death. And we will see you next time on Friday Night Lives. Just remember, everybody dies, but Friday Night lives.
I'd like to tell people to thumbs up the video, Uncle Bill.
Would you?
Yes. Thumbs it up with violence and fury and just love everything about it.
You hit the heart button, then you hit the ass button, then you hit the go fuck yourself button. Follow that up with the I don't give a shit button.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. Do you know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
We have a literal jukebox full of songs and thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So Dead Pit on Patreon.